All right, we're back. We're back for chapter 5. Welcome back, everybody. Did everybody have a nice long rest and think about all the
think about what they've done?
Think about what they've done. It's sort of an abbreviated long rest, but we'll give you the full credit because you went to bed very, very late.
Slept hard.
Yep. Slept good.
It was late, but it was luxurious.
5 golds worth of sleep. You can write that
Oh
down.
my god. 5 gold. Sorry.
It'll all be worth it.
Anybody have anything to say? We hit 50 followers? Yay!
Yes! Awesome.
One landmark in many, we hope. Which is great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody have anything to add before we kind of jump into it?
I don't think so. We good?
Okay.
All right.
It's nice and
This is
toasty
gonna
in
be
there. We'll
better
try and
than-
keep the fan on and
This is
stuff.
going to be better than some show that's on.
Yeah.
Not until later. It's not until later.
Don't go watch it, please.
I mean, it's on at 11.
Yeah, do a replay.
Oh, yes.
Just
Yeah.
delay your
Yes.
disappointment by an
Or
hour.
be like
Yeah.
me
Boom.
You know?
and don't
Boom.
watch it all.
Solid.
It's true.
Okay.
Great. Does anybody have any non-Schlem of Schmones related news?
That's just me.
All right.
All right.
In Chapter 4, Subterranean Tussle, we surged into combat against the mighty Ankeg. The elven archer Mishan provided impressive ranged support, and when the clamor of battle attracted the attention of a few restless undead, we put our new combat skills to test and beat back the advancing threat. In the aftermath, Mishan volunteered to fall back and report on our findings while we pressed forward, discovering a collapsed wall that led to an underground dwelling of some kind. We entered the compound with extreme caution, delicately sifting through mostly abandoned rooms before happening upon a grim scene in the largest chamber. A murdered man with another standing above him, bloodied knife in hand. And despite our attempts to talk him down, the culprit would not obey our instructions to disarm. And as Safira attempted to force the issue by firing an arrow at his hand, in that moment, when the arrow seemed like it would strike true, the figure dissipated into a mist, and Erland was shanked by an unseen source. Using an invisibility potion and a decoy illusion, we've been outmaneuvered. And as we rushed to aid Erland, a magical barrier was summoned to keep us at bay. Orba attempted to impede the man as he began to operate a teleportation circle that had been carved into the ground. But the barrier seemed impenetrable, and he stepped through a portal to the other side. Scouring the area for clues as to the hidden structure's purpose, we broke the seal on a magical door, which released a curse that affected Graven's mobility, but somewhat curiously left us otherwise unharmed. Inside we found apparatus similar to that which we discovered underneath the fountain at the ransacked festival to Umasu, though again we seemed to arrive too late to discern the machine's purpose. Back in the room with the teleportation circle, we scaled a ladder that had been blocked off by unknown inhabitants of the room above, and after some deliberation about how to proceed, we burned our way through, and Beezaura, Erland, and Safira found themselves in an unfurnished home, perhaps used as a prop to conceal the passage below. Orba and Graven backtracked through the grotto's tunnels to the entrance, where the fighting had ceased and the wounded were tended to. Among them, the body of Administrator Fussar, who fell to an Ankeg ambush. We relayed our discoveries to the man who appeared to be in charge, Polnick, and he expressed his intention to launch an investigation into the disturbances in the grotto. He asked us to meet him at Chupa Hall in 2 days' time to discuss his findings, and with some reluctance upheld the bargain that Fussard had struck with Erland, handing over a blood-flecked proof of esteem for the library. Orba and Graven reconnected with Erland on their way out, and the three of them retreated to the Dancing Clam, where Safira had done a little digging into whether Jillian had been spotted, but nothing there. A few streets over, in the Rose District, Beezaura followed a suspicious pair of people back to Fable's Repose, where she haggled for an exorbitantly priced room to spend the night. As we lay down for a well-deserved rest, we asked ourselves, what were these contraptions seemingly at the root of the undead outbreaks? Who did the house belong to that contained the secret entrance to the underground? And were we finally going to get a look at Grimari's grimoire. We find out now in Chapter 5 of A Peek Beneath the Veil.
Oh.
Beezaura rises in the early morning, sunlight streaming through the window, and you hear a hurried knock at the door.
Yes?
Another knock.
May I ask who it is?
Another one.
Who is it?
Would you open up, please?
Give me a moment. I get out of the bed. God's sakes.
You roll over. It's this huge, enormous, poofy bed
Big,
that you
puffy
sort of...
pillows. It's amazing. Can't believe they're making me get up early like they said. I open the door.
You open the door,
Oh.
and instead of the owner that you're expecting, two middle-aged human men are standing there. One tall, almost sickly thin, and the other one's shorter, sort of with a stocky, well-built frame. Hello.
Hello.
There's someone here in the hotel that would request a presence with you if you don't mind.
Who is it?
Well, I'm sure he'd be happy to tell you all about it. We're just here to collect you.
And who are you?
Again, everything will become apparent in time. Please.
Who knew I was here?
Again, he's right down the hall. He can answer all your questions.
Right now.
Right now?
Can I get dressed?
Please. And they stand there.
I'm gonna shut the door.
All right. And he takes a little step back from the door frame. And he closes it, but he doesn't close it all the way. He leaves it open so we can hear through it. But the doors, he can't see you through it.
I gather my things
Okay.
and then go back to the door.
Do you have everything in your bag? Your armor? Did you put your armor on? Or are you leaving
Oh
it?
yeah, because I took it off.
Yeah, you've taken...
I definitely put the armor back on. I am fully armed. And everything is back to my bag. Okay. Put it on. And I look in the mirror and I'm like, I'm ready to go just in case. And I go back to the door. Thanks so much for waiting.
Not a problem.
Glad you could keep the door open a bit.
Well, just wanted to make sure that you didn't pop out the other way.
Because I'm kind of scoundrel.
I don't know. Please. And he holds his hand out, motioning sort of down the length of the hallway.
I look back at the room and sigh because I wanted to sleep just that much longer in the fluffy bed. All right, let's go.
You walk. And they walk behind you and they lead you kind of down the end of the hall to a room that's labeled 2S. And they open the door. And they motion for you to enter. You step into the room. And it's similar to yours in decor, but it's significantly larger. This appears to be some kind of suite or something. Between the door and the bedroom, there's this sort of sitting area with a few chaise lounges, sort of meticulously upholstered ottomans placed around the room.
How much gold did they cost this man?
Well, gold's not an object for our friend here. Please. And they motion, and sitting there on one of the lounges turns and is waiting to receive you is a man that you recognize. Older now, graying hair kind of pushed down. He's got a widow's peak that's hair thinning in the front. And he's swathed in this kind of thick velvety robe that he curls around him. But it's unmistakably the face of Baron Thomas Pindle that you haven't seen in quite some time.
Quite some time.
Do you need a second to take a look? Because we'll go to the other...
Yes. No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do. But go ahead and take a second. And we head over to the Dancing Clan, where you all awake, rise in the morning, having a nice rest. Graven and Erland in one room, Orba and Safira in the other. You guys rise. Graven's sort of shaking off this sluggish feeling, but it feels like he's still tired, like he's taken not enough rest and woken up in a sluggish state.
Erland, will you help me put my armor back on?
As I go to help him put his armor back on, is it the curse, or do you always snore like that?
I haven't had a bedfellow in quite a long time to inform me, so...
All right.
Thank you.
Orba quickly hops out of bed and stands at the foot of Safira's bed and just goes, "Good morning.
Good morning.
You ready to go?"
Wow. Do you always have this much energy in the morning?
Yes.
Right. Sure.
We've got a lot of things to do. Let's go. And she starts pulling at the bottom of the beds, like the sheets, just slowly fishing them off.
Right. I'm getting up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
You guys sort of exit around the same time. You can hear the other door kind of opening, so you know that the others are exiting. You guys make your way downstairs.
Before we do, Orba, you said you had a room key that you found on the man that ran away?
Yes, it was for... Which room was that? 1 second, please. It is for... Where did we find you? 1 second. Continue.
Orba's looking through her bag for the key that she
Graven, how are you
found.
feeling?
Not much better.
I think we should try to find that healer.
I need to go find a healer, yes. Erland, I have the pass to the rare books.
Proof of esteem.
Proof of esteem, exactly.
Has news hit the town yet?
Oh, we
Beezaura is dead.
should ask downstairs if news has hit the town.
Perhaps, but I will entrust this to you for now, because you would be the one most...
Suddenly eager to see the book.
Yes.
We have until noon. We told Beezaura to meet us here at noon today.
Okay.
When we left outside of the House of the Rose. So we have until noon. You could go to the healer.
I'll find it.
We'll say it's about 9:30, 10 o'clock, somewhere in there, because you just went to bed late-ish. So.
If it's not, doesn't take too long, I'll try to meet up with you at the library.
Should we go to the library before Safira gets
I'm
back?
going straight to the healer. You
Sure,
can go to
yeah.
the library now if you want. I'm gonna go.
All right. You should. Yes. We'll meet you here at noon then.
Yeah.
Okay. Take the proof of esteem.
Sure.
I didn't write down what the key... Is there... I take out the key. I found the inn key. But is there a...
Yes, there was a
It was
number.
22A.
No, that's the house.
No, that's the
House
house number.
Sorry.
That's what I first saw, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, sorry.
14. It's
Just
written
14?
written on. Yeah, you guys were rooms. You guys are rooms 5 and 6. The 2 rooms that you've been staying.
Okay.
14.
Here it is. It's for room 14. Do you want to go look and see if he had anything to steal?
I wanted to just pay him a visit and find out more about
Well, I
this
doubt
man that
that
left
he-
us for dead.
Be in his room, he left his key.
Oh, good point. Then yes, let's see if we can steal anything.
Sure.
Okay. But I would like to go and help you and escort you to the healer.
Thank you.
So if you wouldn't mind waiting really quick. Okay.
I'm gonna go downstairs and get something to eat.
Okay.
Graven heads downstairs. And you guys are headed.
I want to go to room 14.
Great. You guys head down the hall. You're walking as the numbers going up. 7, 8, 9, 10. You get down and about almost at the end of the hall, room 14. You see?
Should we knock to make sure?
It's not. Yeah.
I'm just gonna bang.
Oh my goodness.
No response.
Okay. Orba takes the key and...
Let's enter quietly in case he's.
Oh, he just
sleeping.
banged on the door.
All right.
Oh yes, let's not disrespect the man we're breaking into.
Oi! Anyone in there?
No response. There's a couple other people in the hallway that are kind of waking up and they turn away. No, not paying you much mind. You don't get a response from Young.
Right, let's go in.
All right.
Insert the opens up. The room seems about the same as yours, same size, same general layout. There's some very basic, another basic set of clothing, some trousers, a simple tunic, another pair of boots at the foot of the bed. No people in there as far as you can see. There's like a storage, there's like a cabinet, or not cabinet, dresser at the far end of the room.
Can I open up the dresser?
Sure. You go. It opens up. You look around, and not much in there. Again, maybe 2 or 3 other simple articles of clothing, and like a small little satchel bag there.
I would like to take that bag and look into it.
Okay. Open up and look in, and there's 6 gold in there, and a picture of a woman.
Oh.
Erland, anything tickle your fancy?
Is there any information about who he might be, like in his clothes, in his pockets?
Make an
or-
investigation check.
Dice feels bad today. Where are we at here? 16.
16. You take a look around, you sort of feel your way through some of the pieces of clothing and stuff, and you're able to take out a very simple leather bracelet is the only thing. It doesn't have any markings on it, but it has it's tied together with a sort of yellowish twine. So someone might recognize that. It doesn't have any writing on it of any kind, no minerals, rocks, jewels, anything like that. It's very simple. There's no writings, no letters or anything that might indicate what his name is.
Well, if anything, we could take the clothes and sell them.
Oh. I don't know, I feel kind of bad. There's a picture of a lady here. It might be his wife or something. Should we steal from somebody who's clearly so weak and pathetic?
No, I would like to bring him to some sort of justice for leaving us for dead.
Well, what do you suggest?
Let's find out his name from the lady downstairs.
Yes, why don't we say, oh, we found this key, here to return it. Do you know the owner's name?
Excellent.
And then, I don't know, you can beat them up or something.
Sure.
I feel like stealing is wronger.
I agree. I leave the leather bracelet.
Okay. Leaving all the clothing and things, leaving the gold.
I'm like eyeing a pair of trousers, but I decided not to take them.
They're pretty simple. I mean, yours are just as nice.
Does the bed look slept in?
No, it does not.
I walk away from the gold.
Breakfast, anyone?
Yes. You guys exit the room. You lock it behind you,
I'll lock it
and you
behind
keep the key.
I do.
Okay. You guys start to make your way downstairs, and we head back to Fable's Repose, where Beezaura stands face to face with Baron Thomas Pindle.
Oh my God. It is truly one of life's greatest pleasures to see the girl that you raised grow into such a strong and beautiful woman. Oh, please, Mrs. Quippler, would you sit?
Baron, I think I'll stay standing if you don't mind.
Nonsense. You'll sit.
Fine, but not for long.
It is such a delight to
Is
reunite after all these years. Although I have to say I am surprised that we had not crossed paths sooner. Tell me, have you been well?
Very. Why do you think we crossed paths?
Oh, well, little rumors here and there. I heard your name pop up recently in regards to the Gentle Void, and I said, my Beezaura couldn't possibly. And then I remember. Fought on the losing side of a war. Carpenters Guild with no woodworking experience. Bailiffs Association with no respect for the law. Perhaps I don't know my Beezaura as well as I thought. A sobering reality. Well, when I looked out my window last night, I saw a halfling that I recognized being prodded by Mr. Duskeen. I smiled and I said, I'd like to rekindle an old friendship. What say you?
Well, Baron, thank you for looking at me last night and pulling me in here this morning.
I do what I can.
I have to say, though, it's not the best to see someone who ripped apart my family.
Well, I'd like to think that there were greater circumstances and it was not a direct effect of my actions.
You didn't just want the money.
And he smiles. And he looks to the tall man standing next to you.
You don't need
What's
to
your
look at
armor?
that string bean there.
What's your armor class? -2 because your shield is not, you're not holding your shield.
17.
So the small guy reaches out, punches you right across the face in this blindingly quick motion, and you take 2 bludgeoning damage.
I've always had this theory that inner ugliness manifests itself in the physical form. You see, you had an ugly thought, and now you look a little uglier.
Oh, really?
It's just something that happens.
Well, I do say there are many gentlemen in your rose area here that would find me very attractive.
I've no doubt. I think you've always believed you were meant for greater things. I myself feel the same. And the Gentle Void is an excellent place for the wealthy and the ambitious. In my rise to power, I was made one of the primary record keepers at the Ackley River Library, where they keep detailed accounts of who are considered friends and who are considered enemies. Imagine my surprise when your name came across my desk. But it gets so busy there. So much organization required. Filing of papers, confirmations, receipts, requests. You move a paper from the top of one pile to the bottom of another, and suddenly a wanted transgressor becomes a nothing, a ghost, a name on the tip of your tongue that you cannot place.
Really?
Yes. And while the record keeping is a position of power, I desire more. And I think you can help me. Allow me, would you?
And he reaches into his sort of thick robe. He pulls out a very small box that he opens, and these little chess pieces come tumbling out. These gold chess pieces with an emerald in the top of each piece. 4 pawns and a rook. And he opens the chess set, and he sort of places it on a little marble side table that he has there in front of him.
You want to play a game, Baron?
I'd love to. Let me tell you the rules of this game. See, while valuable on their own, these pieces are acquired by performing favors for powerful men and women. The men and women of Antisuyu that are truly the movers and shakers. And the better the piece, the greater the favor. I'd like you to help me complete the set. I'm going to give you an address that you can mail the pieces to. And every time I receive a piece, I'll move your paper from the top of one pile to the bottom of another. And when I complete the set, maybe the paper disappears completely. What do you think of that?
Is this another trick you're going to play on me like you did with my mother's illness?
No, nothing of the sort. And
How
I'm sure
can I
you
trust
don't...
you, Baron?
Well, I don't think you need to trust me. You just need to get out from under the weight that's holding you down. And then you can soar and become the woman that I know you want to be.
You think I'm incapable of doing it myself?
I think you could use a little push. See, when you complete the set, you're allowed into a very prestigious and exclusive society called the Light Whistle Estate Social Club. And these are the top of the top of the top. Anyone who aspires to be a politician or a king needs to be in this club. And I would like to be one of those people. Normally, people throughout their lives, they acquire the pieces on their own, but as you can see, I'm far too old to do that on my own. So I have a few people helping me out to speed up the process.
What are those people getting?
A little something here, a little something there.
Anyone successful yet?
As you can see, I have a few pieces. But you don't need to complete all of the rest of them. You get me 3 or 4, and we'll call it square.
What kind of tasks would I have to do to get these pieces?
Could be any manner of things. Short of murder, I think pretty much anything's on the table. You'll have to ask them specifically. Go to places where people are wealthy and of means, and perhaps they'll be looking for someone to return a favor.
So I have to do you a favor and do them a favor.
Oh, well, favors are what makes the world go round.
Now I just get my paper moved. That's what I get.
You get freedom. No more looking over your shoulder. That sounds pretty good to me.
Can I test whether he's really telling me the truth?
Make an insight check, yeah.
Ten.
10. I mean, he seems fairly forthright about what he's telling you. I mean, you don't know if he's leaving anything out or anything, but he seems to be fairly straightforward. He doesn't. Nothing about it indicates that he would be swindling you in some way.
If I needed help, could I ask people to assist me?
What kind of help are you looking for?
I can find it on my own. I'm just asking.
Oh, you're asking if someone can help you find the pieces.
Right.
As long as they're mailed to me, doesn't matter.
Where do I send them?
Write this down. Thomas Pendle.
Give me a moment.
There's that inner ugliness again. Be careful.
How do you think I got this way? Not trusting people.
I don't know how you got this way.
Oh, you should take a look in the mirror then. You'd see some ugly. Go ahead with the address.
Thomas Pendle.
Can you say that last name one more time?
Pendle. CSP number 8. Pachacama, the capital city.
I know it, thank you.
Oh, who am I to presume? Now, if you'd write that down and go, I need to make myself presentable for the wine tasting this evening.
About this wine tasting, and the party I presume that you'll be going to as well.
I will be.
Let me in.
And what do I stand to gain from you being there?
I want to go.
You want to go?
I do. Wouldn't you rather someone have good spirits when they're on your journey to cut your pieces?
Make a persuasion.
Tell you what. There's a lot of people that are going to be there at the Mola Fair Estate. Perhaps one of them might be looking for a favor. I'll get you an invitation. But you have to pretend that you don't know me. And if you so much as walk up to me during this tasting, I'll have you hit for more than just a face bruise. Do you understand?
I would love nothing more than to never talk to you again.
Where are you staying? I'll have the invitation sent.
That brings up another thing. I paid for only one night here.
Where are you staying when not here?
I cannot tell you that, sir.
Seems I don't have somewhere to send the invitation.
The house across the way seems a bit empty right now.
I don't know anything about that. When I come here, I stay at Fable's Repose. I'm not a resident of Orba.
Well then, since you have an inn and you're quite rich, give me 2 more nights.
2 more nights of Fable's Repose.
Well, I go tonight, I go to the party, I'll be tired, I want to have somewhere to sleep tonight.
I'll give
One
you
more night.
1 night. What's the room number?
I think it was 4B.
For me.
1 more night. I'll leave the invitation there.
Thank you, Baron. And one more thing. How do I know who's looking for favors?
You're ambitious. Figure it out.
And he nods to the men who sort of come a little closer.
I think it's time to leave.
Get the shrimp and the string bean away from me. Have a wonderful day. I look forward to not seeing you tonight.
That's the spirit.
And you exit. And they close the door.
Nice.
And we head back to the Dancing Clan.
This is gonna be boring.
You guys have descended the staircase. Graven's already down there, sort of enjoying breakfast.
Who has the room key for the what's his name? The coward.
For 14, here you go.
Can I? Is there someone standing at?
Yeah, the same lady that's been there. She's still there.
Hiya.
Ah, good morning.
I found this key. I
Yes.
was wondering if you tell me who is staying here. I'd like to return it to him.
Oh, G takes a look at it. That would be Bertram.
Bertram.
Yes.
Does he have a last name?
He just gave a first name, and we're not required to give a whole name.
Sure.
Would you like us to hang on to the key?
We'll take it.
We'll hang on to it for him.
Oh, so glad that he has a friend. Oh, one more thing. I believe the ladies are staying in room number 5, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe there was a courier dropped off a note for you.
If you could hand that around.
Oh, very sweet.
Right.
That was dropped off in an envelope that said room number 5.
Cheers. Who dropped it off?
Oh, it was just the courier service. I don't believe it was the originator of the note.
Did he give you any information?
No, we get quite a bit of mail. We don't ask much questions about it.
Sure. Thank you.
Very well. She goes back to her work.
Do you know what this is?
No idea.
What the?
Is there?
She watches you kind of hold the paper.
Oh, that's it.
Yes.
Oh, I get it now. Okay.
Are you? Sorry, has Graven left for the healer, or is he with us?
No,
I'm
he was eating
down.
breakfast.
Oh, he's cool.
Can I? I'm gonna walk over to the bar with this. Oh yeah, porridge.
Oh, yes, of course. Guy, two, yeah.
Porridge, Orba.
How much is the porridge again?
What did we say? That like 3 copper, I think. Porridge.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple pieces.
When Orba sits down,
Sure.
and she's going to take out. Where is my truck? Hold on. She's gonna take out the ceremony attendance sheet, the ledger.
From back at the festival?
Yeah,
Sure.
and just like open it. What she's gonna do is like place.
Hold it up to her eyes and
Yeah, and see if it's 3D. And like place it over top of the ledger page and like see what letters are revealed. Like,
the first letter of each person's name kind of pops up in
but
the
it
ledger.
doesn't
Seems to be gibberish.
indicate something.
Seems to be gibberish.
Does this mean anything?
The border of the pages doesn't match.
Ooh, what if
Oh,
border of the pages doesn't?
Yeah, the page has like a border around it. The ledger does not have that same border.
does the proof of esteem get out the proof of esteem? Does it?
I think Erland has
I
that.
have
You get out the proof of esteem. In a
Does-
same
Does that
ceremony.
match the
Does it
border?
match?
The proof of esteem's much smaller. It's like a little ticket.
No,
Perhaps
definitely not.
it's a paid. I think that it is.
Is it for a cipher? Is
Why?
it-
Well, why did they send it to our room and not their
Don't
room?
know why
Why
they
just
sent it
ours?
to-
I don't like this.
I don't like it either.
Take it with you to
I
the
see
library, definitely.
Yeah.
It's
When you
the
find the
library.
grimoire, line it up on those
Yes.
pages.
Who
See
would
if
know?
the
Who
border
knows that we're looking for the grimoire?
will match.
I
the
guess
book.
several people.
We've asked a number of people
Everyone.
if they knew. Yeah.
Perhaps we should have kept that to ourselves.
Oh, I really don't like.
Well,
this.
it seems that someone is trying to help us,
What else could it be?
even if we're too foolish to know it. How to utilize it?
Do I recognize the border at all? No.
No.
Okay.
Doesn't seem to be something you've run into recently or that you can remember specifically.
Okay.
And I don't recognize anything
No.
about it yet.
You guys all take a look and nobody immediately recognizes.
I suggest you take it to the library when you find the grimoire.
It's vaguely cryptic.
Okay. Let's give it
Vaguely.
to Erland.
No, it's very
Extremely.
Sure, right.
And unless you found any healing, any.
No, I'd like to keep it. They sent it to our room.
Yeah.
Right, but
Yes.
but what if it's part of the book that he's going to look at?
Safira not
They're
familiar.
going
Right, I
together.
might come with you. Yeah.
Oh, you're going with him? Okay.
We have time to get to the library before noon, right?
Yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah, but it takes 10-15 minutes to walk over.
Well,
Well, go ahead.
we're eating our porridge.
Yeah, you guys
so-
can have your breakfast.
Yeah.
Graven kind of finishes first. And
Yeah.
sort of
So, as I said, take that to the library, and unless you found any cures in that man's room, in the coward's room, I'm off to the healer.
Wait,
Orba.
before you go,
What is it?
I'm going to give you some of these clippings, these toenail clippings.
Oh, good lord.
I know it's strange, but I want you to ask the healer if there's anything, if they know any wizards, someone who could do something with us to possibly identify the people who, to whom they might have belonged. I know it's a strange request.
Reach my giant fingers out and just take it from end to end. Like,
What did you fill it up with? What did you fill
Toenail
up
and
with?
those
No,
are-
what did you
I
put
had-
the toenails in?
I had
We have a
3
jar.
empty
We
jars.
have
Got
some
it.
jars.
Sorry, yeah.
Are you taking the whole jar?
Yeah, I'm not
yeah.
taking them out of the jar. They will stay.
Squeamish,
in
are
the
you?
jar.
So you took the mysterious letter note thing?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, whoever has it physically.
I have it.
Yeah.
Quick question about the fingernails.
Yes.
Would we know, as a species, do myconid have fingernails?
They do, yeah. Most humanoid things have fingernails of some kind. Unless you have claws, you have fingernails.
Okay.
And myconids are humanoids. I mean,
Right.
yeah.
But they're like a normal color, they're not like...
The toenails that you have are kind of a black and like they look dirty, so it's hard to tell.
Okay. This is
You
so
can't
gross.
you can't tell what they're from by looking at them. They
Why
look like
is
it
dirty
so
fingernail
squeamish?
clippings.
I've seen a lot of magic in my time, and I haven't used any nails for it.
Sure,
but I
but
will.
we're gonna try.
I'll do my best.
So you two are heading to the healer.
Touch and go.
I propose a trade, Orba. I'd like to give you my the antitoxin that we don't quite know what it is. I'll give you that to figure out what it is exactly if you give me back my healing potion, please.
Well, that's not really a trade, but I see what they're trying to do, so go ahead. And I'll take the antitoxin.
I don't have anything to give you.
While they're sort of discussing where you headed after talking to.
Well, I guess I need something to wear. I can't necessarily wear this dirty armor tonight. I go down to the front.
Sure.
To ask.
And the woman's sort of there. She didn't see you come in when you were sort of escorted in by the man with the broom, so she kind of a little surprise on her face as she sees you come down. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. I see you've put your dirty armor on before going out.
Can never be too prepared, Mom.
Yes, I suppose that's true.
Question for you. Around here, is there a place where one gets something to wear to the tasting tonight?
You're going to the tasting? Yes, the lightest stitch. It's a high-end design and clothing.
When you say high-end, talking a lot of gold.
For a basic piece, somewhere around 10 gold, and for a custom piece, up to 50, 60 perhaps.
Wow. Very fancy, huh?
It is.
Is there some sort of way you could call over and let them know that one of your bestest friends is coming by?
I'm afraid I don't know you, and even if I did, I don't have that kind of sway.
Well, the Baron invited me. Sort of. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Well, it doesn't matter.
The
He said
Baron?
not to come up to him, so I mean,
I don't believe we even have a baron on the ledger.
that was a slip of the tongue, Mom. Forget I even said it. She
Make
kinda-
a deception check.
Baron.
I meant the woman who cannot.
I can't.
17.
Well, I'm sure whoever told you, if you'd like to ask them for something to wear, perhaps they can provide it. But I can't call in any favors for you, I'm sorry.
Are you going tonight?
No, I'll be here, managing the hotel.
Dress seems very nice.
Well, we do try to keep up certain appearances.
You don't have to keep looking at what I'm wearing, man.
Oh, was I? I'm sorry.
I know I'm not dressed as finely as you. Thank
It's
you.
just we try not to wear armor in the lobby. It projects the wrong image.
I understand. Do you stay here when you are not working?
No, I have a house on the high streets.
That's very nice.
Yes.
Any chance I could borrow maybe something to wear? I'll give it right back to you tomorrow morning before I leave.
No.
Yeah, I'm not even going to think about it for a moment. I assure you that when I do shower and look very presentable, I can carry a nice rock.
Oh, I'm quite certain that you do. I believe that man needs help over there. Looks like he's looking for something. She starts to kind of edge her way away.
Did it work?
She moves on.
Oh my god.
Guess I'll go to this shop.
You head out. Right. Head back to. So if you guys have finished up breakfast.
Yeah.
And
Slams her porridge.
slams the porridge.
Slams.
Oh, Safira, sorry, I misspoke. You take another empty jar just in case.
Oh, cheers, thank you.
You trade the jar of toenails for
another empty jar.
And although before you go, take this bag of amethyst. I can't pronounce it.
Amethyst?
That.
You're right.
Amethyst.
Sure.
This.
What he said. I want to hear him say that 10 more times.
Take that bag of powder. I haven't even drank yet.
Don't tease me.
And see what we can learn about that.
Okie dokie. I will find out. Okay, let's go. Not a second wasted, not a moment lost. Let's move.
Here we go.
So much energy.
Right before I leave, have you guys left already?
Sure, Graven and Orba head out the door. Yeah.
Right before I leave, I just sort of look around the bar and say, has anyone seen my friend Bertram? Bertram, does anyone know Bertram?
There's 3 or 4 people there, and
My
4
friend's
people,
gone missing.
People go back to eating. Nobody speaks up.
Oh, the library.
Actually, do you mind if we stop off before we go there? I'd like to sell this cloak. I'm running a bit low on cash at the moment.
Yeah, sure. To the tank, yeah?
Yeah,
The trunk.
the trunk.
Yeah.
So you guys make your way. You guys are both sort of walking. The trunk's the closest location, so we'll head there first.
Okay.
You guys, a few streets over. You guys make your way. You've been there before. You know the way. See the door. You guys head in. And sitting there at the counter is Crumb. Valerie's not there. He, seems to have the morning shift or whatever it is. He sees you come in.
We didn't meet him.
Hello.
Hiya. I have a cloak that I'd like to sell. Pretty nice material, and I take it out and kind of present it.
Takes it over. Soft.
Yeah.
It's got, and he holds it up and he kind of looks through. It's got some holes in it.
Yeah, I know. Got into a bit of a... Ran into a desk. Can't be avoided.
And he kind of rubs one part between his fingers. Your blood?
Yeah, my blood. Scraped myself up pretty good.
That's not good. He kind of shakes it out. Still, material's pretty nice. You want it repaired or you want to sell it?
I'd like to sell it.
5 gold for the cloak?
5 gold? Material that nice? How often does stuff like that come in here?
I'll have to spend time repairing it. Yeah.
How much time do you think I'll have to spend repairing it? It's a simple stitch.
Well, me, I can't repair it. I'm no good with this, but for someone else, I'll have to pay them, you see. It won't be my time. 5 gold. 5 gold, 1 silver. Gets the deal done.
I'm kind of trying to charm him.
He kind of looks. Maybe.
Yeah. Oh god. I forgot what I look
With your
like.
beautiful haircut.
Yes, with your sort of chopped up hair. I guess you check sort of the drawer that has sort of the money in it from the thing, and you've been here before.
Yeah, I've been here once before.
We do encourage repeat business. 7 gold.
We spoke with Valerie last time. She owns the shop, yes?
Oh yeah.
I watch it in the morning. She comes in around noon or so.
So you work for Valerie, yes?
Yeah.
You're slurring your words a bit, sir. Are you still intoxicated from the night before?
I wouldn't say intoxicated, but I would say pretty good.
Is that something Valerie would like to know about?
Oh, Valerie, she don't care much as long as nothing gets stolen. Don't steal stuff, please don't do
Well, how would you know in such a state? I mean, I won't say a word, but 7 gold.
It's just a cloak. It's also ripped up. Valerie would have my head if I sold it if I bought it for more than that.
She wouldn't have your head if she found out you were working drunk?
Again, as long as nothing gets stolen, don't steal stuff.
Alright, I'll try it.
Alright. Well, you've been very generous. I'd love to take your 7 gold.
No, it counts out. 7 gold's pretty good for a piece of clothing.
Yeah.
I mean, that clearly the material was very, very nice.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh,
Yep.
I have a quick question.
Hmm?
Do you happen to know a young fellow named Bertram?
Bertram,
Frequents the clam?
yeah, sort of scrawny looking fella.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see him over at the Five Sisters sometimes.
Oh, cheers.
Do you know
Yeah.
what his last name is, by any chance?
Just Bertram to me.
Bertram.
Works on the docks sometimes, but I don't work at the docks, so I don't see him there very much. But at the bar, I heard him say that he was pulling in a new ship, offloading goods and the lot.
Right.
Likes to boast about
Does
his
he?
fighting ability.
Boast about his fighting ability.
Yep.
That's interesting.
He's got some good tales, got some good ones.
I'd love to hear them.
Yeah. I don't remember him.
We've got a story.
Doesn't surprise
Do you
me.
like telling stories at the bar, friend?
Oh, if I've got a good one.
Alright. We were fighting with Bertram last night. Against an Anke.
This is a good story.
Down in Brickrock.
Oh, all right.
Bertram made 1 attack. Did no damage whatsoever.
I think he may have pissed his trousers and
May
ran
have
off.
pissed his trousers.
That sounds like Bertram.
And then as soon as, a couple more enemies came by,
Yeah.
he swiftly, while we were all under attack, near death, fighting for our lives, ran the other way, haven't seen him since.
Brilliant fighter that
Tell
one.
that one to your friends at the clan.
I will.
They'll
I
sing
will
songs
tell
about Bertram.
Truly.
I'll trade you a story.
Oh.
I was at Dancing Clown the other day. Mm-hmm. This halfling comes up to the bar. She says she wants to go to the Mullafair tasting.
No. At the clam?
And I looked at her and I said, nah. And she said, uh-huh. And I said, nah. Pretty funny.
Well, you
One story, sir. What's your name?
Crumb.
Crumb.
Crumb. Well, it's been a pleasure meeting you,
Yeah.
Crumb.
Anytime.
We'll be sure to come back.
Yeah. If you come back, Valerie might be here. I'll probably be at the bar.
Sure.
Have a good afternoon. Good morning.
And he looks out the window and, yeah, whatever it is. You guys think?
I'm just gonna, in Elvish to you, I like it.
And you guys were headed to the healer.
Yes.
Right? So you guys make your way. You get directions from someone that sort of directs you to touch and go. And you see, as the spot as it was described to you, sort of the location, you see a 2-story wattle and daub sort of house that's latched together, sort of mud and wood. There's an outside staircase that leads up to like a 2nd floor balcony area. And a sign on the door has an arrow pointing up the staircase and has sort of a etched on the arrow touch and go, the arrow pointing up the stairs. And there's a hand with a plus sign on it, on the arrow as well. Sort of a fairly common healer symbol, sort of indicates someone that would perform services like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the door on the bottom and then the arrow pointing up to the 2nd floor.
Slowly make my way up
Sure.
the,
Graven's
up the,
going up the stairs. Feels like you've gone up like 4 or 5 flights of stairs just by walking up a few steps. You sort of heavy labored breathing.
You've got this.
get the door.
Yes, she scurries in front
So,
and opens the door for him.
pull it open.
Thank you.
And you open the door into a small area. There's a few chairs, some paintings on the walls. Not expensive frames or anything, just a few pieces of artwork. And on the opposite side of the room, there's a couple of curtains that have been hung, and sort of in the back corner, there's a room with an opening in the wall that allows you to see into it, sort of a little separate office area. And you don't see anyone immediately, but you can hear in the office sort of rustling, someone doing stuff in the back area. No one else in the place besides you two.
This is like a sitting area?
Yeah, there's like a sitting sort of area, and there's a curtained off area in the back where presumably if you were needed to disrobe or some reason, privacy.
Orba, do you mind going and asking after him while I... Michael...
What is her name?
The fan, Alicia, shouted the name.
Oh, Michael. Oh,
Michael.
Yes, okay. Okay, without saying anything, Orba just walks back.
Okay, you can't, there's a door, sort of, there's an opening.
Oh.
You can't get to the back office.
Got it.
You can talk through it.
Can I just...
You go up to the counter. You can't see anyone immediately where you are, but there's a lot of piled papers, sort of a couple dressers and things.
Can I just peek at some of the papers before anybody sees me?
Can you peek at the papers?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Make an investigation check.
A nosy. Oh, fuck. That's an 8.
An 8. You look and nothing catches your interest except there is one name that you recognize because it's an author's name. You see the name Samuel Prekis. P-R-E-E-K-I-S.
P-R-E-E-K-I-S.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the form seems to indicate that he was there for some healing.
Do I know what kind of writer he was?
Yeah, he writes historical, history of the land and
of Antisuyu?
Yeah, of Antisuyu.
Okay. So I would...
It's a fairly well-known, famous historical author. You recognize the name.
Okay. Hello?
And you hear and the shuffling kind of stops. If you could give me a moment, I'll be right with you. If you're here for Kent, he doesn't come until later in the day.
No, I'm looking for Mihail to heal my friend. He really needs some help, so if you could be just, at your earliest convenience, a little quick about it, thank you.
And you hear a little shuffling, and you see a head kind of pop up from the mess in the back. It's a half-elf man with sort of short brown hair. He has a kind-looking face. I get a lot of referrals from a lot of places. People come from all over. I can always tell when my good friend Alicia sends somebody to me. There's no need to be so formal. Just Michael's fine.
Yes. Hello, Michael. Yes, it's Alicia told us to come here that you would help my friend.
Oh, I'm so glad. You see, for any peek sort of in the back, he sees Graven
sitting there, just meditating.
Sure.
With my eyes closed.
Just give me one moment. You hear a little more rustling. And you hear a lock and opens the door, closes it behind him. It's lovely to see you. And you, sir, don't get a lot of Goliaths coming in here. It's very unusual. How can I help you today?
I took on a curse.
He was saving me. He was very heroic.
Unknown origin. It's kind of you to say.
That's
an
okay.
Unknown origin curse, and seem to be just feeling very weighed down.
Okay. We do curse removal if our technology allows. You should know that even if we're able to excise the curse, the lingering effects, the aura around you can kind of be sensed magically for a period of time, up to a couple of weeks. I can see sort of the discoloration in your eyes. That may linger for up to 3 or 4 days.
Okay. The aura of the curse or the aura of the healing?
The effects of the curse will be uplifted, but you may, if somebody has an ability to detect an aura or magical essence about you, they'd be able to see that you were affected by a curse recently.
There's no way around that.
It's fairly common. Unless somebody was seeking you in a magical way, no one would really notice. It's, again, we do this procedure fairly often.
And only for a few days.
Yes. A couple of weeks of the aura, the discoloration should go away in a couple of days.
Okay. And how much might this cost?
Typically, we charge around 10 gold for curse removal. And he looks at you as you're kind of sitting there. Would you mind... Could I take a look at your hands there. And he looks sort of at the scarring in your hand. I can see why Alicia sent you to me. See, over the years I've come to have a bit of a specialty in scarring, particularly scarring from burns. Burn scars are uniquely difficult because as opposed to a slice or a puncture wound, which are fairly clean cuts, burns have a way of getting messy, even if you tend to them fairly quickly. Alicia came to me with a number of burns, and she has a bit of a soft spot seeing that in others. I'm sure she wouldn't mind me saying that.
No, she did point them out. I don't think I'm not ready for that yet, no.
Okay.
I'd like to focus on the curse.
That makes sense. Are they causing you any discomfort, if I might ask?
The scars?
Yeah. See, when the skin is badly burned, the surrounding skin tightens, pulls together into what we call an abridgment. Now, an abridgment's both a good and a bad thing. In the immediate aftermath of the burn, it protects the body from being damaged any further by pulling the skin together. But later on, as the skin solidifies and forms into place, it can cause pain and restriction of movement. It can make it difficult to close a hand, lift an arm, or turn your neck. Have you experienced any problems with movement around the burn areas?
Nothing significant, but...
If you run into any problems of that kind, I'd be happy to look into it. We do a special procedure here that's specific to burn scars.
What if they were not as simple as a common fire?
We've dealt with burns magical in nature before. It's not unheard of. It's difficult to assess without starting some kind of minor operation. We do basic reconstruction and start with that, and then if that helps at all, we go on to perhaps some more advanced healing techniques.
Well, I do appreciate your expertise, but this isn't my first concern at the moment.
How much would that cost?
Depending on the extent of the scarring, could be up to 60 or 75 gold. Although I do hate to leave someone in pain when they could otherwise be healed. I'd be happy to do it on a prorated amount, and maybe you come back sometime and finish the payment if the healing seems up to par.
There are some things that I can sell that will help pay for at least the removal of the curse.
Well, thank you. I do think that is our key issue at the moment. You said 10 gold?
Yeah, typically for your average curse, if I could ask, you don't have to give specifics. How did you acquire the curse? Was it cast upon you in person by another being or entity?
It was keeping a door shut.
Oh, okay. It was some kind of runic curse that was triggered in some way.
Yes.
It was a glyph of warding.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I mean, we have dealt with those on occasion. They're tricky, but not impossible to excise, and we do that kind of service here.
Okay. I only have about 2.5 gold.
How long does the procedure take?
Perhaps an hour or so, maybe 2. Again, it depends on perhaps the strength of the person who originally imbued the rune with a curse of some kind.
Right.
Would you be opposed to starting to fix him now? And if you could refer me to like a magic store, I could sell a couple things and bring you back the gold to finish the payment if we paid half now and half later?
I think we could do that, yeah.
You have 2.5 gold.
I have almost 3.
Thank you, yes. We could pay you 5 now to start.
That would be fine.
I give Graven 2 gold and 9 silver. That's pretty much almost all I have. And then
2 and 5. 2 gold and 5 silver is enough.
2 and 5?
2 and 5, yes. Thank you.
I'll be back with more, and take care of him, please.
Okay. Definitely.
Yes, where can I go to sell magical items?
A couple of streets over in Songanon, there's a place called Theo's Elixirs. deals with some magical items, as well as potions of that kind. I hesitate to recommend this because I don't know anything about you, but there's also, underneath the Dancing Clam, they are known to trade in magical goods from time to time. Again, I'm not recommending that. I try not to have anything to do with that kind of thing, but if that suits your needs, there's that option as well.
Would they just buy and not trade?
Well, they buy things,
Okay.
yeah, if they find them to be useful in some way.
Okay. Okay, I'll be back to pick you up at what time? Like noon?
Sure, yeah. And then you can come by in an hour and see where we're at that point.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Orba.
I bow and then leave.
If you could come back, any sort of motions to the curtained area to hand over the money.
Yeah, 5 gold.
Sure. Orba exits the shop. Now that we're alone, is there any other details you can tell me about the nature of the curse? I don't want to accidentally hurt you in any way. Do you know anything about the source of it, who it came from, where it originated?
I mean, it was a bit of a seedy area. It certainly wasn't a house of repute of any kind.
Okay.
There was a rune on the door, and it came out as almost a mist or a wisp. It came
Okay.
towards me, like reaching.
And can you describe the effects of the curse, what it's had on you specifically?
A heaviness pressing down both of my chest and head, and lifting my limbs is...
And you feel that's not related to the scarring. That's been a recent development of the curse.
very recent.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, if you sit down, we'll take a look, and I'm going to get a few sort of potions ready that I'm going to do a little bit of magical ointments, and we'll start with that. So if you'd like to disrobe, if you need some privacy of any kind.
No need.
He seems like a professional. He starts to go about his work.
Yeah.
Great. So you guys sort of begin that process, and we head back over to. Actually, let's just check in with Beezaura. You've made your way to Light a Stitch. That's where you're headed.
Yeah.
Great. So you go to the location that's sort of as it's been described to you, and you see it there. There's a very sort of tall double door that opens up, kind of elven in design. It looks sort of that nature, that it might be owned and operated by an elf. And you open the sort of double door, and it opens, the hinges are very nice and clean. It opens quietly. And you come in, there's sort of a nice smells, perfumes throughout the shop, sort of a floral scent that comes in. And you're still wearing your armor and everything, correct? And you see an elven man in the back, sort of working on stitching together a nice bodice that he's got on a sort of a mannequin-esque kind of figure that he's stitching together.
Oh, yes, sir. Hello.
Hi.
What can I do for you?
That is very beautiful that you're working on there, sir.
It's quite a bit in progress, sir.
Is this your shop?
It is. Welcome.
Thank you. It smells just like the town. Rosy.
I hope it doesn't smell like the town. We go through quite a bit of effort to make it not smell as such.
I see, I see. I am going to the tasting in the ball tonight.
Oh, very well.
It is my first one.
No.
I am very excited.
It's the first time for everything.
Yes, yes, it is. I am in a bit of an outfit change, if you can't quite tell.
Yes, it seems quite functional, but
Yes.
perhaps something a bit more decorative.
Exactly, sir.
Now, well, would you like a custom fitting, or would you like to peruse our wares as is?
Well, I think I'm just going to be upfront right away with you, sir. I don't have a lot of money. I was invited. I did not buy my own ticket. Let's just say that.
Oh, well, a lot of people are invited as
Right.
a +1, a guest.
Yes, yes, I see, I see. Is there anything you could do to help me out?
Have you out?
I would be more than willing to certainly borrow a dress and return it to you first thing in the morning. No scratches, spills, or any sort of damage.
No, we don't do that. here.
I see you haven't in the past, but like you said, there's a first time for everything.
Not everything, I am afraid. Perhaps you could sell a few pieces of things and come back when you've got a little more coin. Or perhaps the person who gave you an invite could come by and buy something for you.
Oh, that won't be possible. Well, are you sure that I couldn't possibly do anything for you?
Make a persuasion check.
10.
Like I said, we'd be more than happy to accommodate once you've offloaded some of your goods and would like to come back and peruse ours. You're welcome anytime.
What is the cheapest beautiful frock that you have here?
We have a few things for 8 or 9 gold.
8 or 9 is not bad, sir. I would have to say that I currently don't even have that many, so...
And you're going to the tasting?
I have proved my worth in other ways than monetarily, sir.
I'm sure you have. Perhaps if you prove yourself in those ways, you'll get a bit of coin and you can come back and spend away.
Is there... She takes off her armor.
Sure.
This is what I have on right now. It's, I guess just full regular.
I mean, you have like a basic tunic underneath.
Tunic.
Yeah, some pantaloons. There's a bit of a hubbub going on.
What's going on in town? Escorting the misters and mistresses to the ball. Well, is there anything that you think you can do with what I have here?
We don't really do alterations of that kind.
It seems you're making a custom piece over there.
Yes, paid 300 gold in advance.
Well, that's splendid
It
for them.
is splendid for me as well.
Can't wait to see it tonight.
I'm sure you will.
So there's nothing that we could possibly do with what I have here?
You could sell something elsewhere and come back.
God.
What do you think would be the best of mine to sell?
Oh, I imagined if you go to a blacksmith, you might use your armor for scrap.
Where's the nearest blacksmith, sir?
Well, there is one in Songodon.
And who runs that shop?
That would be... Give me a second. That would be Alvin Wallu.
Alvin.
Yes, I believe he runs Salt and Steel, the blacksmith.
Is he a young fella?
Younger than me.
You know, the elf is sort of a middle-aged man. So.
And what is your name?
Oh, my name is...
I also don't know that.
Rivaled Pepperine.
Rivaled Pepperines.
Oh my god.
May I say that you sent me?
Yes, I'm not sure if that will help any, but
Well,
Alvin and I aren't close.
I know, but I don't know many people here.
No.
So it's just nice to have a referral, I guess.
If it helps, I'm glad to have helped.
Thank you,
Yeah, of course.
rival.
Yes, we'll be open until around sundown because people will be headed over to the tasting. So if you come by any time before that, we'll be here.
Great. And that nice frock that was 8 or 9 gold.
Yes, we have a couple of simple but elegant pieces for 8 gold.
Excellent, excellent. I will take survey of that. I will see you later, sir.
Oh, I do hope so.
You turn around.
Off to the blacksmith.
Make your way in that direction. And we head back to Erland and Safira, who have made their way over to the library.
Well, on the way, I just want to make sure that is there like local militia around, like blue and white militia?
Where around?
Just as we're walking from
as you're
trunk
getting
to
close
the,
to Chupa Hall, which is right next to the library, there is a fairly increased presence of sort of soldier activity or whatever. that seems to be people congregating.
I just want to go up to some of the militia. Sure. We fought in Brick Rock last night, sir. Has word come back of any significant casualties?
You haven't heard?
No, nothing.
Facade's dead.
The administrator?
Yeah. So, now Keeper Bakari's temporary administrator until they vote on a new one.
When's the vote?
I imagine once they clean up this mess, a couple days or so.
Thank you for your help, sir.
Yeah.
I kind of hung back.
Yeah.
Sure. So, we should head to the library then.
Right, they know?
They know. Yes, the word seems to be out. We should head to the library and...
Sure.
Hopefully what Keeper Bakari is willing to accept
Might have to explain the blood.
Well, we can be fairly forthright about that.
Sure.
He gave us his word and then died, and
Gave us
the
the
gentleman that
What was his
Orba
name?
and Graven, I didn't get it.
Which
The guy that they spoke to.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't.
I don't.
But he was a I don't know what I wouldn't know the rank based on.
No, you wouldn't know the rank, but
I would know that he was
of a higher rank. Yes, he had a
higher ranking militiaman.
Sure. Let's head to the library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Graven's friend is dying. I study at the Halls of Transmutation.
Yeah.
What?
Last we spoke to Keeper Bakari.
Okay.
Graven's friend is dying.
Oh my god.
I'm from the Halls of Transmutation.
Yeah, I can't keep your lies straight. Let's go.
I didn't even start that one! To the library.
You guys make your way to the library, and there's some increased sort of presence. A couple guards standing at the door of the library that weren't there before, and Chupa Hall seems to be very much a buzz. There's a lot of people sort of coming in and out of all the doors. It's probably 50 yards off or so of the library. You can see it.
Yeah.
You can see the entrance. There's a lot of people coming and going through there. Seems to be a lot of sort of high-ranking people in the city, sort of discussing the aftermath of Facade's death. That, as far as you can tell, there's sort of a hierarchy of power. So when one goes, it leaves a vacuum sort of there.
I guess to the guards at the front door of the library.
You're standing
Is
there.
what's the commotion?
Facade's dead.
Yeah, we just heard.
Oh, yeah. They're over there talking about what they found.
What did they find?
Just the unkegs in there, some undead. They're doing an investigation. Apparently a group went down and found a room down there with a transportation circle.
Yes.
It's highly illegal.
Yes, we were part of the group that found the transmutation circle.
Wait.
And he sort of looks around. And he's,
What did you find down there?
We can't tell you that, sir, unfortunately.
All right.
he sort of stands.
Maybe we enter the library.
Oh, yeah.
To speak with
You can go in. We're just making sure no funny business happens.
them. Okay.
Yeah, no funny business here.
With Facade gone, now Bakari is administrator, so heightened security.
Of course.
Sure.
Yes.
Completely understand.
Onwards into the library.
So can we open that? Yeah.
Yeah. You can open the door. And you see there's that sort of desk area where Bakari was before, and you see Bakari there, sort of like. He's signing some sort of things on the thing, and a tear drips down onto a piece of parchment. And he sort of throws it away and takes out a new one and begins to write again.
Bakari's human, right?
What?
Bakari's human?
Yes. Yeah.
Administrator Bakari.
Yes?
We just heard we are so sorry for your loss.
Yes. What can you do?
We fought not alongside Facade, but we were in Brick Rock fighting yesterday evening as well.
Oh, that's good.
We barely survived an Ankig attack ourselves.
Lucky you.
Right.
We saw Facade before we were heading into the crypts of Brick Rock.
I hope you said something nice.
He asked for our help and we agreed to help him.
Good. That's good.
And in exchange, he did offer us a proof of esteem for the second floor of the library.
Always a man of his word.
I am obligated to accept.
We appreciate your help in this extremely traumatic time. Before I pull out the proof of esteem, I am warning you that a high-ranking militia official gave it to us after Facade's death. So it is...
I heard a bit of the story.
It's bloody, and I don't want you to react emotionally.
I understand.
Here he goes. So.
She looks at it, and she kind of immediately puts it under a piece of paper. I'll hang on to it until you come down. Here they go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you will have to relinquish any backpacks, weapons of any kind. They don't allow those on the second floor.
Okay, sure.
So you can
Is
take any.
Who do we leave them with?
There's a couple of guards near the
Oh,
staircase.
great.
There's a guy there before.
Can I kind of flag one down?
One of the guards?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's guys at the staircase that
Yeah,
leads
I
up
know,
to
okay.
the... Yeah, they're there. If anyone heads up, they collect and hold on to your things.
Cool. I'm gonna start taking off my stuff in here.
Oh yeah, so it's just our equipment and our...
Yeah, you
and
can't
our
take any
weapons.
bags or
Backpacks or
weapons.
weapons.
Yeah, so nowhere you could store something.
Cool.
Bags, weapons.
Yeah.
You guys take them. They have like a trunk there that they store it in.
Is that trunk lock?
It's not locked. No. But he's standing right there.
And the quarterstaff and the equipment.
Yeah. And he looks over to Picari, who, gives you the okay.
Oh, right then. We're going
So just quickly to the guy who took our stuff.
Yeah.
You lost no friends last night fighting, so.
Not close friends, but I did know Administrator Fassan. He's a good man.
You all right today? So.
It's a sad day for us all.
Yes. Thank you for continuing your work today. We appreciate your help.
Everyone's got a job to do.
Up the stairs?
Yeah.
You guys make your way out. And you enter
There's no way we're gonna find this book.
the rare book section of the
Oh
library.
god.
And it's not nearly as large as the lower floor. I mean, there aren't as many books along the way. And you see a few rows, and there are sort of cursive engraved letterings.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems to be organized alphabetically in some way, sort of A, B, C, D down the line.
Is there anyone else? Can we hear? I assume it's like stone floors.
Yeah, there are other people there. Yeah,
Okay.
make a perception check to sort of get a read on the floor.
20.
20. Yeah, I mean, you look and listen, and it sounds like there's 3 other people up here. There's someone, and immediately as you walk up, there's someone kind of flipping through a book, and they seem to be other people. They're not guards. They're other people
Yeah.
perusing the library.
But no one seems to be lurking in any sort of threatening.
There's one man sitting at a small table, kind of writing on a piece of parchment, or it looks like he's reading a book and sort of writing down something that he sees in it. There's another guy flipping through a book, and then you hear some footsteps in another row aisle that has books in it.
All right. Sure. Keep an eye on that mysterious third person.
You can't see him, you just hear some,
Okay,
some more footsteps.
Okay. Let's proceed
To the G.
G's.
Yeah.
You guys make your way to the section. Takes a little bit of time to peruse. You guys are looking for...
Yeah. Vermari's trying.
Well, I guess we're gonna G first. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys make your way to the G section. There's no one in that aisle. The man that you heard is not there. And as you walk into that aisle, there's decent coverage on both sides of the aisle. So as of right now, you look around and you can't see and no one can see you in this aisle at the moment.
Okay.
And you find it. Mari's giant grimoire. It's big, has it sort of writing down the end of the binding.
What edition is it?
You take it out. First edition. Mari's giant grimoire.
Alright, let's go.
I did not think he was going to be there. It was
Me too.
Two-
And
216.
And it's empty.
yeah, exactly.
No
all the
G
books are checked out.
We turn to page 216.
You turn to page 16. Hand this around to...
And we'll spend the next 20 minutes just reading on camera.
I know. I am clearly preoccupied.
Don't look, Orba.
I'm not looking.
We'll head, as you guys sort of take a look through the book, we will
You can put
head...
it and I will look up.
We'll head back to Orba.
Oh, I
for a
can't.
moment.
I have to refer to my notes. Here, go ahead. I will put it here.
You were headed to...
I was headed to Theo's elixirs.
Theo's, yes.
Astronomical.
Where are you, Theo? There. So you get into the potion shop. It has a sign on the door, Theo's elixirs. And you're immediately struck by like an overwhelming mixture of smells, and you can hear kind of a bubbling, sort of alchemical experiments, or not experiments, sort of potion brewing going on. It's a very strong, pungent smell, and it's sort of overshadowed slightly by a very minty aroma, and you can see around the shop big sprigs of mint that are hanging down everywhere. It seems like he's attempted to cover up the smell of the shop with these sprigs of mint. They're perched on all kinds of surfaces, sort of attempting to mask the potion brewing process. It's not a very well ventilated space. There's like one small window off to the side, and you see Theo, who's a human man, and at the moment he's kind of trying to waft some of the potion out the window, and he's using kind of a sheet as he...
You know, I quite like that smell.
Well, if you go out on the other side of the window, you can smell it all you want.
And he kind of...
Is there something I can do for you quickly? I'm in the middle of a batch.
Oh, yes, actually, I need to have this happen quickly as well. So,
excellent.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like that in here.
Sure. So, okay, I want to maybe trade or sell a couple things. Do you also identify mysterious magical items?
I've been known to identify things.
Does that cost anything?
Yeah.
How much does that cost?
3 gold.
Okay.
Something small.
Okay. So, first Orba takes out the antitoxin quickly and just plops it on the thing. I don't know what this is, but how much would you buy it from me?
He takes it and he pops it open and... It's fresh.
Good.
We sell those for 50. So...
Gold?
Yep. So, if I'm buying it from you, I gotta buy it and sell it at a profit. I give you 35.
What is it?
It's an antitoxin.
What does it do?
There's all kinds of poisons and things in the environment. If you need to be cured of it, it's a quick fix, rather than go to a healer or something.
Rather than go to a healer?
Well, if it's a poison, yeah.
Okay. 35 gold, you said?
Yeah.
You know, I wonder if somebody on the street would just buy it from me for 40 if I stood outside the shop.
Oh.
I'd rather you not do that. If I give you 40 now, will you just give it to me and not stand outside my shop?
Yes, I'd love to. Okay, so I sell that.
He gives you 40 gold. Counts it over.
Yeah. Into her
Whoa.
pouch. Okay, next thing on the list. And she pulls out.
Excuse me a moment.
Oh,
You sort
yes.
of pour something in it. Sort of.
What was that?
It's useless now. And he
Oh.
pours it out sort of into a jug. And I was distracted.
You know,
what
if
else?
I'm really inconveniencing you, I can come back later. I've got enough gold to do what I have to do.
No. What else?
I pull out the amethyst powder.
Mm.
Does this... how much is left of this that is useful?
He takes it and he opens up the thing and he takes out from a drawer behind him and he takes out like a little scale. He's got like a little brass scale that he gently pours it and he takes some weights and begins to sort of stack them. Let me just make sure I get that right. I'd say you got about 75 gold worth of powder there.
Lovely. And do you know if this is typically used for opening teleportation circles?
Couldn't say. There's a lot of different magical uses for gem powders. I don't know what it's for specifically. Did you find it near a teleportation circle?
No, somebody told me that I should hang on to it in case I ever needed to go on a vacation.
Make a deception check.
Oh no!
That's a nat one.
He looks at you and he takes the scale and pours it back into the little pouch. I think you can sell that somewhere else. I don't need that kind of trouble.
That's fine. And then...
Try under the dancing clam.
Yes, I was told of that. How do you feel about having competition underneath a seedy old inn?
We don't sell the same kind of stuff, so it doesn't bother me.
Okay. And the next thing, when I take out the necklace, would you mind identifying this for me?
Oh, sure. It'll take me about an hour or so.
Okay, and how much gold?
8 gold.
I thought you said 5 earlier.
Yeah. Necklaces are more delicate. If it was a stone or an orb of some kind, no risk breaking that, but if I break this, I'm out of shit luck.
Okay, deal.
Okay.
And I hand him 8 gold.
Sure.
And I'll be back in an hour?
I'll get right to it. Right after and he looks and something else is kind of bubbled up. And he goes, shit. I'll get right to it.
Really consider hiring an assistant.
Yeah, maybe. Who'd want to work in this place?
I wouldn't mind.
Really?
Well, I'm more of like a scribe, but I follow instructions very well.
We'll talk when you come back.
Okay, cool. And then, one more thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, are there any like really knowledgeable wizards in town that if I ever just wanted to like pick their brains a little bit?
Until recently, I would have said Administrator Facade.
Yeah, no, he kicked it.
I heard that he kicked it, yeah. They came by here looking for a whole mess of healing potions for the wounded warriors.
Oh. That must have been a good payday for you then.
Was, can't complain.
But nobody else?
Not that I would know.
Okay. Well, I will see you in an hour, Sir Theo, and we will talk then.
I'll get right on it. Yeah, leave the door open if you would.
Okay.
Thanks.
Goodbye.
He needs to go.
Okay. I start heading back to, or I guess.
Where are you headed? Just
that only took. I was very
That's
fast.
probably pretty. I mean, it probably took you, 10 minutes to walk there. And so. That interaction, another 5-10 minutes.
How far is the dancing clam?
I mean, not very far. Another 10-15 minute walk. Maybe not even 10 minutes.
No. I'll go and kind of sit at the porch of the healer of Touch and Go, like outside, so they have privacy.
Make your way back there, and
I'll just.
There isn't really a bench that you see, but you can hang out in.
Can I flip through the ledger and see if I recognize any names while I'm waiting?
The ledger back from the festival. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You sort of find a little spot somewhere you sit down on the grass and flip through the pages. And we head back to Graven.
Can I have been like chatting with him while he's been working
Yeah,
on
sort
me?
of while this is going on. Yeah.
Okay. Michael, just have a few questions for you.
Yeah, of course. Anything I can answer, I'd be happy to.
As you can see, we were short of gold, but I fancy myself a pretty good hunter. Is there any collection of hunters in the city that I could speak with?
Yeah, a couple. Usually if someone needs to connect with somebody else, I recommend Robert Bastille. He knows a lot of people.
Right.
Otherwise, if you head over to the Fleet of the Broken Crown command post, they have a little sort of outpost over near the docks. And there's people there who do various bounty work and things of that nature. I suppose hunters come by there in case there's something that needs to be tracked down.
And anything of note of late? I don't know.
Of note in what way?
Just any beasts outside in the city, outside the city limits that have...
Until the Ankegs recently, I can't say I heard of anything.
Right.
And as he's doing this, he's sort of wrapping some gauzes around your wrists that are sort of wet with a kind of healing potion. He sort of drenched the healing potion into like a gauze sort of thing that he's wrapped around you, and your upper arms as well, and one around sort of your neck and shoulders. He sort of begins to kind of press into them, and the healing potion kind of seeps down into the pores of your skin. Sort of feels good. You still feel a little weighted, but it feels a little bit like it's lifting kind of from you.
Where did you learn this craft?
Well, I've lived in Urinshupa for most of my life, and my father was a cleric once upon a time. I never really inherited his divine abilities, but I did have a talent for certain aspects of healing, so I opened up my own shop.
Yes, you do excel at it.
Thank you.
What was your father's name?
Donovan.
Well, is he still with us?
He is, yeah. They sent him up to Navikapura. It's way up north. They were establishing sort of a new community there, and they needed someone with healing ability in case there was any monsters there that needed attending to or anything of the sort.
Have you Heard from him of late. Are you still in touch?
He will send a letter occasionally. I haven't received one in some time.
Thank you again, Michael.
Of course. And he sort of begins to continue the process. He sort of leans you back into sort of a reclined position and begins to kind of knead his fingers into the arms and shoulders. And as he's doing so, he's sort of pulling up, and it almost feels like the blood in your veins, you can feel moving kind of back and forth as he's sort of moving it. And it feels like it's sort of taking his fingers up, and sort of a little bit of mist kind of dissipates up from your shoulder area and continues the process.
Do you recognize anything about what you've managed to pull out of me here?
Doesn't seem to have any particular magical signature, but we've seen curses like this before. I think you're going to be just fine.
So,
is there anything about the scarring before I move down into your hands that I should know so I don't hurt you or trigger you in some way? We'll continue. He sort of makes his way further. And we'll head back to Beezaura as Graven continues to be treated on. And we head over to...
Mr. Alvin.
Yes, Alvin at Salt and Steel. There's a man who's kind of... He's in the middle of sort of putting a sword together, sort of on an anvil that he's kind of has outdoors.
Impressive work, sir.
Thank you.
How are you?
Oh, pretty good. What can I do for you?
I was sent here by a rival, the elf over at the nice dress store.
So it's fine. Don't mind a referral.
Ah, great. I was hoping I'm in the need of some gold to buy a dress for the ball tonight.
Well, I won't be going. Don't know how much gold you need, but
You're not
what can
going?
I do for you? No. And he looks around. He's covered in soot. I mean, he's got a business to run.
Understand, sir.
It's good.
Is there anything you see here that could be a trade?
What do you have specifically? Your armor? Do you have any other items of any kind?
I don't think I do.
Okay. Just so I know what you're presenting him with.
I think I just have my armor and my weapons.
Okay.
And you're smart.
And you're smart.
You willing to sell your armor there?
I can't sell all of it to you, sir. I can't go out there with nothing.
What are you willing to sell me then?
What kind of armor do I exactly need?
You have like a chainmail set of armor, like a
Oh.
pretty rudimentary but well constructed chainmail.
I can't sell like pieces of it. I just don't all of it.
The chainmail you really couldn't. You couldn't easily dismantle it, so that would be hard to sell pieces of.
Interesting. Well. I don't know what to do, sir. I need my armor, but I also need something a little more presentable for tonight.
Sounds like you got yourself in a pickle.
Indeed. Well, what time is it exactly, sir?
It's getting close to noon at this point, probably 11:30.
I'm quite handy. I'd have to say I'm quick to learn a skill. Do you need help manufacturing in the afternoon?
He looks behind him, and he's got like an apprentice back there who's working. He's like, "That's all the help I need. Piss off."
Melvin, is that how you speak to somebody?
You come here. You say you want to sell something. You won't tell me what you're selling. You offer to work for me. I don't need your work. Either buy something or get out of here.
I don't have any money, Alvin.
Not my problem.
What would be the thing that you see is most worth something that I have?
I'd buy the chainmail or the sheet.
How much for the chainmail?
Chainmail, I'd give you 60. Well constructed.
60 gold. say... Make it 65, and you have a deal.
Make a persuasion check.
Everybody's a swindler. Every one of us.
Nobody likes market prices.
If I want a little extra porridge, I'm starving over here. Oy. 4.
62, and I take it off your hands right now.
I'm going to agree, but just a word of wisdom. How much does this sell for?
I could sell something like that for 75.
75.
Maybe 80 if I cleaned it up a bit.
Gotcha. Well,
I haven't got all day.
trying to think here, please.
He goes back to kind of... Do you need a moment? Should we?
So if I have my shield and my weapons.
You would lose... I can tell you. I think you would lose 5 off of your armor class for not wearing armor. But let me double check.
So I have 14.
It's not terrible, but it's certainly...
Yeah, you lose 5 off of your armor for not wearing your armor.
Sir? I'm going to have to reconsider.
Okay.
Do you just happen to have any
Things for free? No.
slight decorative pieces?
You'll have to go over to the lightest stitch. Everything in the shop, you look around, it's all functional armor. It's nice, it's well constructed, but it's not decorative in any way.
I see you bolting some things together over there.
What'd you say?
Bolting some things.
Oh yeah, he's like dipping a sword in like water and hammering out the kinks of it. He's kind of putting it together on a whetstone.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Alright.
Appreciate the hospitality.
Yep.
And she sits there and thinks for a second.
Okay.
And then
Beezaura goes into a deep thinking.
I know what she's going to do. She's going to go back to the lightest stitch
Okay.
and buy a couple embellishments and do it herself on her own tunic.
Okay. So you head back.
I'm not risking getting hurt on this trip.
You head
And
back
I'm
to the
going
lightest
back to see my elf.
Yeah.
He'll be more than happy to see me again.
Sure.
So you head back to the lightest stitch.
Yes.
And
Can I go right there for you to go?
Sure, yeah, if you would like. If the transaction
I want
is.
to end this saga right here.
Sure.
This is a lot.
Yes, good to see you
Mr. Rival, good afternoon at this point.
again. Lovely to see you again.
We've transitioned from morning to afternoon on this outfit.
How the time does pass.
So I see you have a little bit of beading and some quite embellishes.
And he sort of shows off a nice fancy piece. He's moved on from the sort of bodice that he was working on, and now he has sort of a gown that he's sort of these strips of lace that he's sort of have this waterfall kind of effect coming off the back of a nice dress.
It's very nice. As I observe you there, it doesn't seem too difficult to spruce up a frock.
What are you getting at?
A needle and thread plus a few gems would cost me how much?
What kind of gems?
They don't have to be real at this point. Just anything that would make me look a little more fancy.
I could sell you some trimmings for 2 gold.
2 gold. As you know, sir, I am very in need of something, and I wouldn't want to embarrass myself on my first going out, I can say. Just bear with me here. A gold and a silver.
And he sort of takes a bucket that's behind him and he brings it over and holds it up. And it's like scraps of like little pieces of, some nice materials, but too small to make anything out of. And
You could have 1 gold for the bucket.
There's a needle and thread?
And he takes a small thing of thread and he on the house.
Well, kind of you, sir. I shall take it. Thank you, and thank you. If I need any advice, do you mind if I just plop in the corner here, work on myself?
There's a bench outside if you'd like to sit.
Any questions you'd be happy to answer?
Oh, I'm sure I would.
Thank you, sir. This has been quite a pleasure. I'll tell everyone at the ball that I came to you for help.
I'm so glad.
And you go outside. You start to sit on the bench. Are you working on...
I'm working on my tuning.
Great. Work on the tuning. We return to the library.
Did you say that there was an old guy transcribing things?
Yeah, it was an older gentleman who was just sort of writing on a piece of parchment. He had a book sort of next to him.
Can we transcribe the page?
I'm gonna go over to that guy because we don't have supplies.
No, I guess we don't.
Right.
So can I go over to the transcribey old guy?
Sure, yeah, he's ready.
Sir, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't happen to have an extra quill and parchment we could borrow, would you?
I have a couple sheets, if that's okay.
That's
He reaches in your bag.
Just two.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah,
And a quill?
Yes. He slides over his. I'm not done reading the section. You can have it until I'm done.
Thank you very much, sir.
And he goes back to reading.
We transcribe the page.
Sure, yeah. You guys make a sort of page.
When that's done.
Make a dexterity check. Sort of general dexterity as to sort of your adeptness in copying the page.
Oh, general dexterity.
Yeah, just straight up dexterity.
Is it like with advantage because we're both dead? It doesn't matter. 18.
No, we'll say because given the
Sure.
yeah,
18.
yeah, I mean you make a very good replication of it. The page itself has colors, like so sort of the letter and the border. So you just have a black ink, so it's not the same. It's noticeably different, but it's pretty good as far as sort of the general copy of it.
The warning on the page is curious.
Yeah, it is.
This. Oh, can I? Does the page seem? I know, right? Does the page seem like if I look at the binding, or if we look at the binding, does it seem different? Does it seem like it was added, or is it part of the original
Seems
book?
to be part of the original book. Yeah. I mean, the pages on either side are what is it, 215, 270? I mean, it looks like
Right, but like this page hasn't been somehow like added to what the first edition's old, right?
Yeah,
The
it's
book
old.
is-
I mean, the whole thing looks old. Yeah, it seems nothing about it strikes you as being different than other pages necessarily.
Grimaria wrote this very long time ago. Is there on the cover page? Is there like a how long ago it was written?
You take a look. There isn't a date written on it.
He wrote this a very long time ago, so this warning isn't specific to us.
No, it's not. But what I want to do is get downstairs, get back to some place where we can sit down, and I have that piece of paper that I was sent this morning. I'd like to look at that page with the piece of paper.
You don't think the warning along the side's it? Do you think there might be more?
I think there's more to it than that, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'd also like to check it against the newer copy to see if this was removed, if there was like what's you know what I mean?
Oh, sure. Sure.
You guys had checked the new. You mean a newer edition of
There-
Grimari's?
Did it not have...
The page was about sort of a potion of water breathing. I think.
Yeah, but is there no way to like sort of now we can like take note of what's around this, I guess, to sort of see like if there are pages on Myconids where this is?
You want to sit and look through the other book? You'd have to go downstairs and look flip through the other edition.
I'd like to take note of like maybe the 10-20 pages around this page.
Sure.
Just sort of like get a sense of like where
the book,
it is.
The one you have right now in your hand, each page seems to be fairly standalone. Like as it's sort of an educational index, it's not like a whole chapter on one subject. It's just a page on this, you flip, and there's a page on ingredients for a potion. You flip.
Is there an
there's a
order
page
to it, like an encyclopedia has, or a dictionary has like an order to it?
Yeah, there's a section sort of on creatures of Antisuyu, there's a section on sort of alchemical related things, and there's a section on sort of nature. That's the section that this is in.
Nature?
Yeah, it has kind of nature and things related to beasts and creatures of the wild.
I don't think there's any more from this book.
So hard.
I don't think there's anything more from this book specifically that we need up here, and we can always come back up.
That's true. We still have. We'll get it back, right? When we come down.
Presumably he gives.
So we should go down to the main
Yeah, I agree.
library.
I think we should
You
go
can
down.
look over. You look over with the thing that was sent to us.
Yes.
And I'll take a look at the 5th edition and see what's in the nature section to see if there's anything here.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
So we place the book back on the shelf.
Sure.
Give the quill back to the gentleman.
Hope you found what you're looking for.
Thank you, sir. So yeah.
You guys are going downstairs. You guys head down the stairs.
Yeah.
Great. And the guards are standing there, and you find everything you need.
Yes, for now. Thank you.
Okay. And he opens the trunk and the things.
Yes, please.
And hands them back to your bag and your.
They're all everything's there.
Everything's there.
Go back to Administrator Kari. Thank you so much. You seem to be doing better.
You have to carry on.
May we have the proof of esteem back for a later date?
And she looks at it. I believe she kind of looks at it sadly, and I think this was the one. And it still has sort of the dried blood on it. It seems to be the same one.
Thank you. We're gonna spend time in the main area of the library.
Yes, please.
Give you 2 pieces of parchment.
Yeah, I have 1 blank one.
Yeah, it was a blank
Can
one.
I have? Yeah. Do I have anything to write with?
Not with you at the moment. No. Keeper Picard might have. Yeah.
Kari, do you mind if I borrowed a quill from you for just a few moments?
Yes. Don't write in any of the books.
No, of
And
course
she
not.
takes it out and hands it
Thank
to
you.
I'd like to head to where we picked up the 5th edition of
Sure.
the Grammarian.
Yep. And you.
Yeah, and I just want to. So while she's doing her work, can I look in the sort of nature section?
Yeah. Now that you're comparing them, the 1st edition seems like it was a decent bit longer. It
Sure.
seemed, that page is still there, 216 I think it was, but there's only maybe 10, 20 pages after it, whereas the edition above, maybe there's 50, 60 extra pages. So it seems like things were removed from it over time, or at least deemed not as important,
Yeah.
so taken out of the book.
Is there anything in the nature section on myconids?
There's nothing mentioning myconids as far as you can tell looking through it.
Interesting.
And flipping through the one upstairs, that was the only page that mentioned them.
That was not.
That was the
That
only
was the
page
only.
yes,
Okay.
that mentioned it.
They've removed all mention of myconids. It seems like in order to learn anything more about myconids, we'll have to head to Monkmoo as instructed. Anything else other than the obvious note?
Well, if I hold this paper
Orba?
up to the page,
Yes, that one's fairly obvious.
the letters read,
Yes, I see.
and I don't know what that means.
Um,
I've copied them out so we have them. If it's some kind of anagram, we can try to re-scramble it.
Oh. It's my thoughts are, given that all mention of myconids have been removed, I believe that's, again, not a note for us, but I believe that is Grammari perhaps suggesting that he is being pressured to remove all talk of myconids.
Well, you knew him.
Again, a very long time ago.
Still.
And this is the first I've heard of this. I know normally I am not to be trusted, but truly this is the first I've heard of this.
Yes. Well,
Is there how close is Keeper Picari?
I mean, you guys are just a little bit away.
Can I sort of scamper back?
I like.
Is Administrator Picari?
Yes.
Do you have by any chance, like a ledger of the town, like an address book? There's an address I wanted to look up to see an owner of who owns the property.
Records of the town would be at Chuba Hall, not here in the library.
Thought as much. Any particular location in Chuba Hall?
There is a record section, I believe, as you walk in and head to the left.
Great.
I don't know for sure that anyone is attending it at the moment, given the circumstances.
Yes, of course. Anything else, Safira?
here's your quill.
What time is it?
It's a little past noon at this point.
Oh.
12:30ish.
What do you say we head back to the dancing club?
Can we poke our head in the records room? Just poke our head in the
Oh,
records
sure,
room.
fine.
Just pop in. Yeah, let's if it's truly right next door.
Yeah, I mean it is. Yeah,
let's,
the hall's right next door.
Can
You
we
guys exit. And you head over, and as I said, the presence there of military. There's quite a few people there milling, sort of talking back and forth, and a couple guards stationed near the door. And as you kind of walk up,
Is something you need here? Because we're very busy.
We were attacked last night. We were the people that found the portal that's caused the uproar today.
Okay.
hold on a sec. And he sort of goes back, and he comes back, and Polnick is following him. He's sort of Polnick.
I do not recognize you.
I saw you speaking with my friends, the Goliath and the Tiefling. We passed each other.
Yes. I saw you, I remember her, not...
I was there.
We were separated. She was with us fighting the Ankegs and the Undead.
Very well, we're very busy. What can I do for you?
We wanted to look up an address very quickly. We believe that it may have something to do with the portal.
The house on the other side of the ladder.
Yes.
Yes.
We looked into it.
Do you
Who
know
owns
who-
the house?
It's registered under a Bourage Il Pravo.
Of course it was.
We have not yet found someone who knows who he is.
Is he not a resident of the town?
We were asking around and no one knows him personally. We're still looking.
Thank you for your help, sir.
And was that your handiwork? Everything is burnt inside the house.
Everything.
It was not my handiwork. I'm much better. I'm much subtler than that.
Well,
God.
seems your friends left out a few details, but we're continuing the investigation.
Yes, I apologize if that obstructs the investigation anyway. We were coming off of a rather difficult battle, isn't it?
Please do me a favor. Do not go near that house anytime soon until we're done looking through.
What are you looking for something in particular at this moment? In the
Anything that might identify where this Bourage has gone. We're looking at every corner of the house, every part of the underground tavern, and we're also deconstructing the teleportation circle.
Yes. Did you identify the man who was? We mentioned we found a dead man downstairs. Did we be able to identify who that was?
The Goliath said as much. We have not yet identified him, but it is very unusual for an Aasimar to be here in Oranchupa.
What's an Aasimar?
It's a race of people. You don't see many of them in Antisui.
You've heard of Aasimars before. It's a race of people. They're not so much on the Kira mainland either. The sort of biggest community of them is on Grand Prasada, which is on your map. There's a small island to the east of Kira. It's called Grand Prasada. It's a fairly wealthy island.
Is that island? You say it's an island?
Grand Prasada
Yeah,
is
it's
an
an
island. Yeah.
Lots of beaches on islands.
Excuse me?
When
I was commenting on shorelines. There are lots of beaches on islands.
Yes.
Yes.
can I talk to him in Elvish? Does he?
Oh,
You don't know what he can or can't speak.
Do you speak Elvish?
Let me tell you all the things I cannot speak, so you can speak in them.
Do you want to tell him that we saw the man going to the beach?
I am very busy.
I quickly I say, look out behind you in Elvish and look at the guy. Continue.
Do you want to tell him that the man that we saw, the sorcerer, went to a beach?
Yes, I see no harm in it unless this man is. I see no harm in it.
I think we should tell him. The man, the sorcerer we saw, who cast the transmutation, the circle. We saw him going to a beach.
You saw men use the transportation circle.
Yes, we did.
This is new information.
Oh, friend, I was.
Of course it is.
I was attacked. I was stabbed nearly to death by a man, and
And this man was in the underground.
Yes, he was.
It seemed like he was the one who killed the.
I'm going to need an account of your encounter. Would you please come with me
Where?
into the hall? We have a few things that we'd like to ask you.
Okay.
Okay.
And he leads you into Chuba Hall. And as you guys sort of enter through the doors, a few of the guards step out of the way and allow you to pass. And that's where we're going to take our dinner break as you guys enter in.
Oh boy.
Why should never stop lying? Why did I tell the truth once?
I'm sorry.
This is Polnick. He's the one that told. We can talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it at the break. Thanks guys for joining us. We'll be back after the break.
Oh my god.
Cool. We'll be right back. Thanks everybody.
What is on that?
All right.
Oh wait, I just choked.
Oh.
Good. Perfect.
Never mind.
Let it
Back to
out.
break.
I
Cut to
knew
commercial.
as soon as I took that sip. Did not go down the right.
Oh
Take
no.
these away.
Right. Not my candy. Not my lozenges.
So, as you were saying.
Yes. So we've returned and we will head back to Drupa Hall where we left off. Polnick has sort of brought you, and as you enter into Drupa Hall, there's this sort of long table that seems like sort of a meeting hall or something of that kind of number of chairs. And there's a lot of guards bent over, sort of scribbling notes they've made. You can see laid out on the table there's almost a diagram or attempted to make a drawing of the tunnel system and then the underground chamber that you guys went into. Like they've attempted to make a sort of map that maps out each room. You can see sort of the rooms that they've designated. One of them's written mess hall, where you guys saw that underground. So they have this kind of diagram that they've attempted to map out the entire underground structure. And Polnick sort of waves you over, he pulls out 2 chairs. Please, if you would sit.
I'll sit down.
And the 2 chairs next to each other?
Yeah, 2 chairs next to each
Yeah,
other.
let's sit down.
So you sit, and he goes around to the other side and he pulls a chair.
Are there guard?
I mean, there's a lot of
but
people.
no
here.
one seems to be like.
No one's like
so,
holding. No one's like standing behind you, like holding you in
Great.
place or anything of that kind. Yeah, it seems at this point fairly amiable.
Okay.
Now, your Goliath friend, he had filled us in on some of the details, but apparently he left a few things out. Now, if you don't mind, I would like to get a full account.
What has he already told you?
Maybe you can start with what you know, and we will fill in the rest. You could start with this man and his portal that you spoke of.
Well, we reached a chamber, and there was a man standing over another man who looked like he was dying. This was the man that you discovered in the silk
We
cloak.
found the man, the Asimar man.
The
Yes,
Asimar
we're looking
man.
into who that is. You don't know this man.
None of us recognized him, no.
We know next to nothing about anything. We're very new here, and we were drinking at the Clam when a bunch of men. We were drinking at the Clam. We were having a drink.
Yes.
And
We
a bunch of
weren't
men.
drunk.
We weren't drunk, but we were relaxing, and
I would not presume as such.
a group of men ran in and said there was an attack in Brick Rock, and we wanted to help. So
Start from when you entered the tunnels. What then?
When we entered the tunnels, do you mean when we encountered the Nkeg?
Yes.
Well, we encountered the Nkeg and attacked it. We had help from a Halfling, a Tiefling, and our friend,
a man
the
named
Goliath.
Bertram.
A man named Bertram and a woman named Michonne.
Michonne, the name sounds familiar.
Yes, she was a very good fighter. She was useful to us.
Yes, I believe she came back out, spoke to a couple of the other men.
We
near the
sent her
entrance.
your way.
Yes, I think we ran into her. And he looks around. Don't see the man that she talked to, but I will look into this, yes?
Did you see Bertram? Because he ran out as well.
I do not know Bertram. It's
Well,
not
he
a
was-
name I recognize.
Utterly
It
useless.
sounds very much like my voice. It's an echo.
Bertram actually ran away in the middle of combat, which I believe surely is some sort of desertion.
Not all men are built for such things.
Anyways.
Alright. So, we defeated the Nkeg. We managed to get through the rest of the undead. And then Michonne left us, Bertram left us. We proceeded on to the inner holes of the... not holes, but into the tunnels.
Clearly what you've
Explore.
already mapped out.
Yes.
We rifled through some things, collected certain things.
Nothing of consequence.
Nothing of consequence.
Vials, parchments,
Perhaps I will be the one to say whether it is of consequence.
blank parchment paper, a couple
Parchment
empty
paper,
vials.
jars.
Very well.
We found toenail clippings of some kind?
We found some on the floor, yes.
You
Unusual.
would have seen, or we didn't leave anything out of
Were you
place particularly.
Were you able to determine what sort of toenail clippings those were?
We'll have to have someone with more magical knowledge look into it. It's not my area of expertise.
I'm sure your men also saw the blue and black ink around.
Yes, a few pairs of gloves.
What have you determined what that was? That aroused our suspicion.
Could be something to do with having written something or some kind of spell. Again, Foussard would be the expert in this matter. We obviously do not have his help at this moment. We will send for someone who knows perhaps more about this. What I'm more interested in is why do you think your Goliath friend would leave out the details of this man?
I'm sure it was
It was the heat of combat. We were
intentional.
We were anxious to meet. We were split up after the fight. As you know, we escaped through the house
Yes.
in the rows, and
I don't think he meant to obstruct you in any way.
and
If
he
that's what you're asking.
and he
I'm not
was
saying anything of that nature just yet.
and he was and he and the Tiefling flee back through. When you saw him there, I think that it was probably the
He
heat
may
of combat.
have been a bit annoyed that we left him behind as well. We had a bit of an... You could see that we decided to burn a hole through the ceiling of the... where the ladder...
Yes, I've seen
He
your
didn't
handiwork.
particularly like our idea, and I think he might have been a bit disgruntled.
There were men, it sounded like many men, in the house, owned by, you said, Bourage?
The house is registered to Bourage.
Bourage, yes. It sounded like there were many men in there and tried to trap us down, which is why we had to burn our way out again, not me personally.
The house we're looking into, again,
He helped.
what other details of the man who went through the portal? Did you see where he went?
No.
No, the only thing we could see was a beach.
Beach.
It was an older man.
He was a powerful wizard of some kind. He cast a spell of some kind that made him invisible, and then cast what was almost a hallucination, it felt like, of himself over the body.
Invisibility is not so uncommon, but
He,
illusion magic is of some power, I would imagine.
after he stabbed my friend here, he blew powder from his hand and created a wall that was impenetrable.
I will ask about this. This is it?
That occurred that evening, yes.
You did not find anything on the man, in the room, anything I should know about?
Can I see the map that they've drawn out?
Yeah, you can see.
Is the room behind the door that Graven opened on the map?
Behind the cursed door.
The mechanism door, is that on the map?
Yeah,
that they've
yeah.
drawn out.
Yep, they've drawn out.
As you see, we saw the tube mechanism.
Yes, he pulls over the map. This room, here.
Yes, it was empty when we found it. Has any development with that?
Some kind of pump, it seems.
Do you think it was pumping downwards or pulling upwards?
We're still taking it apart, but my guess would be down. I can't tell if there would be any kind of valuable resources they would be bringing up from the ground. But again, we will continue to look into it.
So it sounds like we know essentially what you know.
Nothing else about this man who disappeared.
Is
through
there
the portal.
something? It seems like you're fishing for an answer, friend. Is
It
there
seems
something?
like your friend left out some details, and I would like to make sure that he didn't leave out anything else.
I don't know what he told you, but we were attacked. The man who attacked us escaped, and we nearly lost our lives.
Very well. The Goliath and the Tiefling, they said that they would come to meet me tomorrow to discuss our findings. If you can, I would like to be sure that this Goliath comes back and does not renege on this
Seem
agreement.
awfully
of ours.
suspicious of him.
I am suspicious of a man who leaves out details when you need not.
Which detail did he leave out in particular?
The wizard, you say, who opened the portal. Never met some such a man.
Has nothing to do with him being a Goliath.
What are you accusing me of?
You know what I'm accusing you of.
I'm doing my job. As far as I can tell, This business is none of yours, but you have been thrust into the middle of it. Make sure your Goliath friend comes here tomorrow and we won't have any problems.
I'd also like to remind you that because of us, men of yours were saved, and this whole thing is happening.
That remains to be seen.
Is that all?
Yes.
Is there anything I can see on the map that is different from anything that we saw?
Make a perception check.
15.
15. There's a couple of circlings in the room. There's sort of a denotion of the transportation circle. And there's a couple of sort of circled and arrow drawings that seem to indicate as they were destroying the transportation circle, because they're, it's illegal, they were attempting to break it up, that they found something underneath it.
Then that's visible on the map then.
Yeah, there's an arrow pointing to it that, seems to have some scrawlings underneath. But you can't read what it says. It's pretty small, and he has it closer to him.
Yes?
If you wish to absolve yourself of my suspicion, don't leave the city within the next 24 hours.
Yes. And when would you like us to send the Goliath your way?
They said they would come here by sundown tomorrow, I believe we said.
He was badly hurt, so I believe he's recovering at the moment. I know he's seeing a healer.
Badly hurt by what?
We fought an Ankeg and 4 undead.
Seemed fairly put together
The
to me.
door. The door with the runes on it.
Yes.
It contained a curse. The
We
curse
did see
followed
the
him.
runes. And he's at the healers now.
He is.
He looks to someone behind him. He nods.
That will be all, thank you.
I noticed on the map that you opened up there, it seems that you found something under the transportation circle.
Yes.
I think given that I nearly lost my life, I deserve to know what I almost lost my life for.
Make a persuasion check.
Yeah.
As he rolls up the map in front of you.
It's cocked.
Do I re-roll a card for this?
Sure.
I don't want to.
If it's actually cocked.
I mean, it should be an 18, but it's slightly cocked.
Well, is there a number up on the top?
Yeah.
You take the
19. 19.
Oh.
That's cocked in the right direction.
We broke up the illegal transportation circle, and we found a bit of a cache underneath with a few books. We've kept them in evidence.
What kind of books?
That is information for us. Thank you.
We could be helpful.
I am sure at another time you will be.
This seems pertinent, given that you're so angry about missing pertinent information. I have studied. I am a scholar of sorts.
I have the halls of
The halls of
transportation, as you
transportation.
keep saying.
I am very good with books. I've read most compendiums. My father was a collector. Late Intentions, my Gimwars. I could be of help, is all I'm saying here.
Fair enough. Come with the Goliath and the Tiefling tomorrow. After we've had a chance to look through everything, we can consult you on these books.
Thank you, sir.
Any motions for you?
So, should we meet you here?
Yes.
Nerd.
And he gets up. A few of the people sort of collect some of the things he had in front of him.
I'm never being that forthright ever again.
That's not surprising. Can I, start talking to him in Elvish?
As we're sort of
Sure, you guys are exiting.
Speaking, this whole conversation's in Elvish.
I want to know more about him.
About that man? About
Yes,
what?
I want to know
we
more
got his
about
name,
Polnick.
yes. It was Polnick, yes.
Oh, okay.
I want to know if he's trustworthy, because if he's trustworthy, then he might be able to help get to the bottom of this. And if he's not, I regret giving him so much information.
Are there militiamen around? I know, yeah, this area is bustling, you said, yeah?
Anyway.
The hall?
Yeah.
There's a lot of guards.
Well, yeah, so we just exited where we were exiting.
Yeah. It's mostly a military militia presence here, not like regular.
Let's go back to our friend guarding the front of the library. To the militiaman that we spoke to.
Sure. Yeah. Who you talked to about Fusard's death?
Yeah, who wanted a little bit of information.
Yeah.
What did he want information on again? He wanted to know...
He wanted to know what happened. He was like, oh, what'd you find?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he was just
Friend.
It
We just met your superior, Holnick.
got a bit of stick up his arse, huh? Sorry, under the circumstances. Inappropriate.
What, how long has he been, what's his rank?
His first spear. Head of the militia here in Urnchupa. Probably #1 man under Fusard, other than the big man.
Who's the big man?
Well, every city has its big man, the first select. His name's Duvin. First select Duvin.
And he's in charge of the whole city.
Well, he's in charge of when a post loses a man of importance. He holds a sort of election within a small council, and they pick a new person.
And Polnick, has he been the first spear for a very long time?
Few years, 3 or 4.
And just between us, do the men like him?
Well enough. Again, he's tough, but seems like a all right chap.
Do you know anything about where he comes from?
Where he comes from? Don't know that information. Grew up in Urnchupa, as far as I know.
Said he has a bit of a stick up his ass.
Well, you know.
We met him, we know.
Yeah.
Is he, are there any...
And as you are sort of talking, sort of incognito about about Polnick, the other soldier who seems a little bit more composed, kind of like knows his chatty friend is kind of going on.
Between you and us, friend, are there any rumors of scandals that Polnick's had under his reign? Of double crossings, bribery of any...
And he sort of stands up straight at that. Don't know nothing about that. You on your way?
I would like to check if he is lying.
Make an insight check. Make an insight check with advantage.
Yeah.
I just rolled a nat 20 and I have +5.
Yeah, I mean, he stands up straight and really seems prickled at the subject, and the man that's standing next to him kind of gives him a... So it's, you know, it seems fairly obvious that he's not saying something. On your way then?
You wanted to know what happened in the
Nope,
crypts
don't want to know anymore.
Sounds like you wanted to know what happened in the crypts last
Nope.
night.
I think my shift's almost over. It's just, no? Alright.
What's your name, friend?
Don't name my name.
I'm sure I could very easily find your name from any number of the militia around here.
Okay, let's not intimidate him.
Oh.
Don't. I know that.
Derek.
Alright, Derek. I would like you to tell me now what scandals Polnick has found himself involved with.
Don't know nothing about that?
Derek.
We have pull in this town,
No,
Derek.
listen. Would you
And the
like to
other
have a drink with
soldier
us
kind of
later?
gets a little closer to you guys.
I think you heard him say, be on your way.
What's your name?
You don't need my name.
I'm
We
just
let you in the library. Now go.
curious. You wouldn't happen to want to go for a drink tonight with me?
Where do you go for a drink?
Three Sisters.
Shithole. Be on your way.
Oh. What would you suggest for a drink then?
And they both stand up straight with their weapons. They kind of look the other way.
Right. I shouldn't have shaved my head.
I think barring a confrontation, we're not getting anything.
Yeah, let's not.
Elfish now.
Certainly not interested in a confrontation.
Alright.
We need to. Can I look around and see which soldier looks like the most terrified one?
Make an investigation check. Looking around. Most terrified, you
No,
said?
just like I want to pick out the runt of the litter here.
Okay, sure. Make an investigation check.
Love it. 13.
13 plus 1.
Okay, so 16.
16.
Simple math.
I mean, you look around, and if it's not the guy you were just talking to, who kind of clammed up at the last minute, there's a couple guys who seem to be on... They're sort of changing shifts with some of the guys in Chupa Hall, sitting around sort of very board, kind of waiting their turn to be either guarding the front entrance or head into the halls.
Does anyone have shaky hands or?
You can't tell that so much, but there's a couple guys who they don't look like real threats. Sort of shrimpy-looking guys, sort of ill-fitting armor, the helmet that he kind of slides back onto the top of his head. Guys who look like, they signed up for the militia for a paycheck, not because they're real warriors or fighters of any kind.
Okay. I'm gonna remove the belt that I have on my head.
You look slightly more presentable about the belt.
How do I look? Be honest. Oh, that's not good.
Why are you asking me?
See that one over there?
And he's kind of he puts his helmet back on the top of his head.
Oh, goodness.
Think you fancy a drink?
Have a go.
I'm just gonna walk over. I'm gonna kind of try to be like.
I watch casually from the distance.
Charming as I can. Hiya. You. Yeah, you.
Hiya.
What's your name then?
Steve.
Steve.
Yeah.
I'm Safira. It's so nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you, yeah.
Steve, what would you say? Do you think you'd fancy a drink later tonight?
Alright, yeah. I'm on duty for another 3 hours or so.
Yeah? Where'd you like to get a drink? On me.
Oh, wow. 5 Sisters is fine, or Jets and Clams got a bar too.
Yeah. Let's say 5 Sisters. Do you want to meet me there 8?
Alright.
Well, I'll see you then.
Okay.
And he kind of walks, takes a couple steps away.
I'm gonna walk back.
And there's a couple other soldiers that kind of saw this interaction. They're kind of like... Another one kind of gives him a pat on the back.
In Elvish, I'm going to say to him, I've got a date.
Lucky boy, Steve.
Lucky boy indeed.
We should head back. It's afternoon now. We should head back to the
It's
clan.
probably 1:30
Yeah,
at
we
this
should.
point.
Yeah.
So, can we head
Start heading back to it.
We'll head back to Beezaura for a moment. So you're stitching... Are you stitching the sort of...
Embellishments on my tunic.
into the tunic or your armor, your chain armor?
Oh. So I don't want to do it on my armor.
Yeah, you have to if you're just wearing the nice tunic, but it would be there isn't enough material to make it not obvious that it's armor. You wouldn't be able to hide the fact that it's chainmail.
Can one wear armor underneath their clothing?
Not armor that's that heavy. You have a full chainmail vest.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's like heavy armor.
So I'd have to go to the ball without armor on, probably.
They might not let you in with armor anyway.
Okay, so I'm doing it on my tunic.
Okay, sure. So just sort of embroidering. Make a just a general dexterity check for your sort of ability to needle and thread. Yeah.
That's why I'm sitting right outside so I can talk to Alan.
Sure. Yeah.
Or what's his name?
We'll say with advantage, given a little bit of advice from your friend, and roll twice and take the higher one.
Yeah, you got this. Let's see it. Oh boy. Maybe not.
What is it, dexterity?
Yeah, just a general dexterity check.
What is it? 10.
10. Okay. You do a decent job putting it together. I mean, there isn't enough material to make it look fancy.
Right.
It looks nicer than what you had. I mean, it looks nicer than your average person walking down the street.
Oh, thanks. I fix it and I look at it,
Mm-hmm.
and then I decide to go back in the shop just to show him. Mr. Rival, for a
Look at
beginner?
An apprentice in the making.
Huh. Do you need an extra hand today?
No.
Well, then your approval is priced right enough.
Yes.
Is this quite similar to the 8 or 9 gold?
He looks over, and the other dresses are a good bit nicer than that. I mean, certainly the stitching, it's all one sort of material. It has a more cohesive look to it. I mean...
With the right styling tonight, I think I could get by.
I think that's a wonderful attitude to have.
Oh my god.
Thank you for your assistance, sir.
Please, anytime.
And then she goes, I don't know where to go now.
The door shuts
Yeah,
behind
shuts the
you.
door.
You didn't decide. You remember you did say, I mean, it's past noon at this point, but you said you were going to meet some guys at the dancing
I
clan.
did say.
Yeah. back
Oh,
at
okay.
the-
Okay.
You're a bit late at this point, but
Yes.
so are other people.
I just fix my hair a little bit.
Sure.
Get
Is
ready.
that what was it? And are you sort of carrying in your bag your armor?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have all my stuff,
Sure. Yeah.
but I am making my way to the clan.
Great. Make your way back.
Although I do have to come back for the thing tonight and stay in my room.
You have to get the invitation from your room. Yeah. He said he was
Right.
going to leave an invitation.
Oh, right.
So,
So I
yeah.
have some time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You definitely have some time.
Okay.
It's still in the early afternoon.
I go back. to the
Beezaura,
clan.
feeling fresh and new, walks down the streets of the Rose, and people look at you as you pass by. Not as
Hello.
fancy as they are. They,
See you tonight at the ball. If you're lucky enough.
Oh my god.
sort of a couple polite nods as you go by. And we'll go back to Graven at the healer. And at this point, Michael is finishing up, and you do feel that a sort of weight has been lifted off you, and he's sort of putting away some of the rags and some of the bottles of potions and things. He's putting them away, and well, how do you feel?
Much better, thank you.
I'm very glad to hear it. There is still a bit of discoloration in the eyes, but that should go away within a day or two.
Good. And the aura.
And again, for a layman, you wouldn't even notice, but if someone has the ability to detect a magical presence, they would be able to tell that you've been recently affected by a curse.
For weeks.
Perhaps a couple weeks, yes.
And there's no helping that.
Not to my ability.
Okay.
Again, unless you're running into someone who's looking for something, I can't imagine.
Who knows?
Well, I'll leave you to your business. I won't.
Thank you. And I may come back to you about my scars.
Yes, please, anytime. Like I said, it is an area of some expertise of mine, but I try not to pry, so...
Thank you. If I ever make my way to, Navikapura, I'll, if I run into your father, tell him you're doing well and very skilled.
That would be lovely. Thank you very much. If you ever know for sure that you're headed up there, I'd love to send a letter with you.
Oh, of course. I can...
I haven't written
No.
it yet. If I know that you're going, I'd love to write him a note and just
I'd come back and
update
let
him.
you know, of course.
I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, thank you again. Hopefully, Orba will come back with that gold that we owe you, because we do still owe you 5 gold.
Yes. Please do what you can. Take your time. If you can pay me, that would be wonderful. Just recommend my services if you can.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Of course. And there's a couple other people that are now sort of waiting in the waiting room as you head out, that seem to be in various degrees of, not mortal wounds or anything, but one guy's kind of clutching his arm that seems to have a break or a wound. Another guy's sort of holding his head and sort of at the temples as you pass back in. You exit the shop? You exit...
Yeah, I don't recognize anybody in the...
No, there are people in there.
Yeah,
No.
I'll go outside. I'm looking for Orba
Sure.
to help me.
Orba's sitting out there pretty nearby, still flipping through. And what were you were looking for?
Just
a
seeing
name
if I
to
recognized any names. That's
Yeah.
all.
Nothing that you see that you recognize,
Okay.
other than there's just that circled.
Yeah.
Boraj's name is circled in the ledger. Yeah.
Right.
Other than that, nothing you see. I mean, you see a couple of the names.
Of people I met.
Yeah, people that you
assume.
met at the festival.
Yeah. Okay. How do you feel?
How do I look?
You look amazing.
I can't thank you enough for helping me pay for this.
Yes, no, I sold things and I have lots of gold. So much gold. And I guess I should go paint the remainder, right?
I'll take it in.
Okay, what was it, 5?
It was, yes, 5 gold.
She heaves up her nice little sack and
Yeah,
goes,
it's got a nice, pretty pouch.
yeah, I know, I told you.
Sell!
I only had to sell the antitoxin thing, and it was mad money. So here you go. And I hand him 5. Actually, he was so nice, and you might have to go back to him again, so take one more as a tip. Do we tip medical professionals?
He was very helpful, yes. And I think it would be well appreciated. So, yes, we'll give him 6 gold.
Okay.
Tipping's not extremely common, but it wouldn't be unusual.
Is that a common amount?
Sure. I mean, again, tipping isn't a widely practiced, but if you wanted to show appreciation for one's services. So.
Well, would he like see an extra gold and be like, "Oh, cheap mother"?
No, I think you wouldn't expect a tip.
Oh,
so
okay.
any kind of,
Yeah.
anything to
Never
that
need
effect
it
at all.
again.
Yeah, so I walk back in.
Sure.
And,
He's already sort of tending to someone else that you can see. He's sort of bandaging up an arm in the back. Was there something that you forgot?
no, but here is the remaining 6 gold.
Very prompt.
There you go.
Can't say that about some of my patients, but it's okay. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
Yeah. And as you're kind of going, the guy with his arm is like, "I gave you an extra gold?" Whew. You kind of like acknowledging that's it. So you guys exit. And where are you guys headed?
If you don't mind, what time is it for us? I guess.
I mean, again, this was sort of
it all-
simultaneous happening. It's about
So is it
1,
just
1:30.
past
Yeah, it's
noon?
like a
Okay.
little just past noon in the afternoon.
Unless you had anywhere pressing to go or wanted to meet the fam back at the place.
Yes, the half-elves should hopefully have some information by now.
Okay, I just had one more thing to pick up at that magic shop. There was the necklace that I wanted identified, so I just was gonna go pick it up.
Sure, I'll accompany you.
Are you sure?
Yes, of course.
Okay. And I walk over to the
Theo's.
I'm feeling
elixir.
good, so I go like a nice little
Taking, you can sort of breathe in and you sort of are able to get more air in than you were before. It sort of has a breath that you couldn't catch before. You feel a little more rested, a little stronger.
Your strides are much wider than mine. I have to walk very quickly.
Yes. Even as a Goliath, he's like taking extra long steps.
Keep up, Tiefling!
And are you both making your way to the potion shop? Or is...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you guys both go.
So all my dexterity's back.
Yep.
But I do have an aura about me.
Yes, as far
Which
as you
doesn't
don't know what
matter
that
to
means.
any-
It doesn't affect your stats,
Stats
in any
anyway,
way. No.
okay.
It just might be detectable.
It's
I
gonna matter.
What is it?
Quiet you.
So you make your way to the potion shop.
Yes.
And you sort of open. It still has that kind of distinct smell. Oh,
It's
hello.
gonna stink. Hello.
You brought a friend, I see.
Yep.
I have something for you.
Yes.
And let's see here.
Is it very fancy?
And he takes it out, and he's polished it up pretty good. The stone is kind of shining that was there with the amulet and the chain. He's kind of polished it up. I was able to take a look at it, and if you can hand that down.
Ooh, it's so close.
I can't even look at it.
Yeah, none of
I
y'all.
haven't seen
Back
anything
off.
to touch.
Back off.
Is this something that I saw her get a hold of earlier?
She
Yeah.
took this. Yeah, she took
From
it
the
off
sack?
of off of one of the zombies, I think. When you had it.
Yeah, it was when I was.
Yeah, he had it in his
that
hand.
stuff.
She
Yeah.
like pried the fingers open.
Right.
It's a
Everyone has all these secrets.
amulet that's got some combat capabilities. Seems pretty useful. Not to a man like me, but if you do some fighting, have at it.
Okay.
And he describes, I mean, I'm not going to read the
Yeah.
sort of nitty gritty of it, but he describes sort of its general abilities. If you want to read it to Graven,
Yeah, what have you got something interesting there, Tiefling?
It's a necklace, and actually, it would look nice on you. It says, whenever the bearer of this amulet deals a killing blow to a non-undead creature with a melee weapon, they gain 3 temporary hit points.
so it sort of has a vampiric, like, siphoning effect. So if you kill something with it, it sort of the energy, you're able to siphon and you gain some sort of health from the siphoning.
As a thank you for taking the curse, and she hands the necklace.
Thank you to me. I believe you've earned this, but
I don't need it. I don't attack with melee.
if you insist...
She says very scientifically.
I'm not a melee.
Let's use those many weapons.
Take this necklace, nerd.
Well, it,
I mean, unless you wish to give it to somebody else, I see no reason why you shouldn't wear it.
well, it is a handsome necklace. I do appreciate it.
Hit it over your neck, and you feel sort of an energy pulsing from it. It does require attunement, so certain magic items require attunement, meaning that you need to take, during either a short or long rest, you have to take some time to allow the magical properties to kind of meld with you and sort of understand the workings of it. It's basically a function so that you can't just hand the necklace off to someone if they needed it for a second. Like, you have to focus and concentrate on the power.
And then once it's yours,
No, someone else can attune to it, but they would need a rest to do so. So you could, in the middle of combat, you couldn't toss them the necklace and let them use it.
But if I do that one time, for the rest of the time,
until you've unattuned it or someone else has attuned it, it's attuned to you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you. Hopefully we find some use of it.
Yes, I think so. And as for you, Theo.
Yeah.
If you ever needed a hand with any stuff that you might use.
I think I'm pretty good, and as he sort of holds his hand, he knocks over a glass.
Oh, that's not fixable.
I'll tell you what, why don't you come back another time, and maybe we'll see about that.
Okay. Goodbye.
Leave the door open on your way out.
Yes, I know.
Thanks. And he sort of goes back to brewing the potions and whatnot. And where are you guys headed from?
Well, back to the clan, I suppose.
Yes, we have to go meet everybody else. Although this has been nice. It's quiet.
Yes. Good Lord. We managed to lie our ways into a corner here in the last couple of hours.
I don't know. It's kind of funny watching him trip over himself, don't you think?
Yeah. As long as it doesn't bowl us over as well when he falls.
Yeah, well, let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yes, let's.
You guys make your way back to... You guys are all sort of reconvening around the same time. Beezaura, Safira, and Erland get there a little bit before the two of you. You guys were headed back also.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the three of you all pretty much arrived at the same time, aside from Beezaura. I mean...
Well, hello, friends.
Oh,
She looks decently... Orba and Graven are not there.
Don't
we're
you
not
look
there.
dashing.
What do they
So we're in the clan now? Or
Yeah, you guys
outside?
have entered into the clan.
I fashioned my own outfit for the tasting and the ball.
You're not going to the tasting or the ball?
You
Not
are
a ball.
mistaken, my friend. What?
It's not a ball.
No.
It's tasty.
Let her think it is.
There'll be some sort
If
of
she
dancing.
still thinks it's a ball.
You're not going.
You found
Yes, I am.
a date?
No date, but I found an invitation. I was granted one.
Granted one by
Where did you
whom?
sleep last night?
Oh, I forgot you have no idea. I was actually in the... What's it called?
The name of the inn?
Yeah.
Fables Repose is the name.
The Fables Repose in the Rose District.
How in the name of God did you get a room at Fables Repose?
Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous.
You fa-
my
I'm-
little elves.
You found a date at Fables Repose?
Oh no.
I'm
I was
sorry.
able to get myself a room very cheap, fashion some nice clippings for my outfit, and put them on myself with some advice from the very nice man at the little store.
I'm more
I have
focused on
so
the
many
wine.
questions.
Yes.
And in your confused state, Orba and Graven come through the door of the dancing clan and see you guys chatting.
Well, hello, friends.
Where's your armor?
It's in my bag.
All right.
What
I'm not
does...
going to say anything about my outfit.
I pull Graven aside. I've been told that anytime a lady is in need of complimenting, you should really do it, or else it's going to be very bad. You look very nice.
Thank you.
You're
Orba.
welcome.
You
Yes.
look lighter on your feet.
That is also true. Thank you. As I was telling them, I'm going to the tasting tonight.
Wait, what?
The tasting?
Yes,
She
no, I
seems to
heard
have acquired
you.
a ticket, and I'm not entirely sure how.
How is it not important?
Oh,
but I do have
seems
very
extreme.
important business to tend to while I am there. So I need to look proper and beautiful. Not like that was hard.
You didn't happen to get a second invitation, did you?
Yeah, or a third, or a
As
fourth,
of
or
now,
a fifth.
I need to return to my room at Fables Repose to pick up my
Wait.
invitation.
When did you get all
So-
fancy?
Where did
In
you
addition
go?
to her clothes, Beezaura's taken on a kind of air of superiority. as
I'm
she-
practicing. I can't go in as my normal self. We all know that.
Yes, well, that's quite obvious.
Well, she's bragging. Oh yeah, I would know. While she's bragging, do I see Robert Bastille around?
Take a look around. You don't see him there.
No.
Not
Is
not
Crumb
in the
around? I'd like to show him what he's missing out on.
Oh, right, we met Crumb today.
We did meet Crumb. Yes.
What was of use to you?
Useful drunk, yeah.
Sounds about right. But yes, I am going.
From a locked box on the back of a wagon to the tasting of the Malafera estate.
Yeah, don't say that's not
I
fun.
told
No,
you all
suppose
to
I am
stick with me,
impressed.
but you were put off by my arrow flames.
But wait, really, you can't get another invitation?
I have to see what it says on my original invitation.
Okay, why don't go do that?
How?
It won't be delivered until 6 p.m. tonight. The ball is at
What?
the tasting's at 8.
It's in the no, it's even later than that. Yeah.
It's late.
Yeah.
Did you? It's not going to have a +1 or anything on it?
I don't.
Would you like to be her date?
I would take you.
Well, sure, you guys
Do I know
go
if that would be
then.
impossible?
You don't know.
I'm sorry.
I don't
You don't know what it looks like yet.
Yeah.
I just think it's hilarious.
I'd have to tend to a certain amount of business while I'm there, so I need a trustworthy.
Why are you being this way?
companion.
What business do you have at the Malafera tasting?
Well,
Oh.
am I allowed to tell them?
Oh, you are allowed to. You don't have to.
There's a certain gentleman who I cannot name who is granting me this ticket in return of some duty.
That I think is
Oh,
illegal.
That doesn't seem right.
Get your head out of the gutter, Orba.
No, I think literally that's illegal.
It's political, and it's
Oh.
familiar persons from my past that have come to greet me again.
Right.
Are you in any danger?
I could be. If you don't notice, I do have a fresh scar on my right cheek.
And you're planning to go to this ball dressed as you are, without
I
armor.
have to.
So you've been contracted by someone who you're not going to tell us who they are to
I
go
cannot.
to a ball by yourself, not wearing any armor, to fulfill some vague tasks that you're also not going to tell us anything about.
Well, if we're all so interested in my life now,
That way.
Well, it's less interested and more you're very useful in combat, and I would like to see you not dead this evening.
what are those pieces called
Right.
Pieces of what?
that I need to find?
They were chess pieces.
Oh, they're just chess.
Yes, they're like gold with emerald engraved chess pieces.
Have any of you ever heard of very fancy chess pieces before?
What?
Chess, the game.
The game.
Specifically fancy for...
Gold with little emeralds on top.
I feel like I've had a stroke.
Have we heard of any of us heard of those things?
Make an insight check as you're sort of looking over their reactions to you saying this.
5.
I mean, as far as you can tell,
Nobody knows.
yeah, the looks on their faces don't give away that they've heard of this in any way. Yeah,
Well-
Graven kind of looks like that.
Pretty much how I feel.
If you
I don't play many games.
if you just bear with me here. There's a certain person in power that
Oh my god.
made my mother ill in the past, and now he. Oh gosh, this is a long story.
Don't have to tell them. That's entirely.
Let's skip right to the chase here.
How can we help you?
Oh, wow.
I am in need to find these chess pieces and send them to a certain location in order to get my name written off of some sort of records. And
Record, like, is this what you're wanted for?
it may be.
What, incidentally, are you wanted for?
Well, it only was a matter of time before I'd have to seek your assistance, I guess. We know about Erland and his book, and Graven, and we're getting to the bottom of a lot of things here. But if one person is to assist me tonight, they will need to be there and know full information. I may or may not have been in the records of the, what do they call it?
Gentle boy.
The Gentle Void.
Right.
As a certain impersonator, and in order to get my name written up the records and my papers slipped lower and lower and down the stack until it is simply forgotten, as he says,
I'm sorry.
I need to collect these chess pieces and send them to you.
I'm sorry. You are an impersonator?
Of the Gentle Void.
And they
you were
caught you.
pretending to be the Gentle Void?
I was indeed.
In which town?
Of course you were. Of course you were.
You don't know
For
the
what?
story.
No,
so
I
don't
don't.
try to act like
Okay,
you know.
so-
Listen, your
Can I
past.
walk up to the bar?
I was waiting for that.
So,
Hi.
Yeah, you again?
Yeah. Cheers.
It doesn't matter why.
this all seems to matter a great deal, given
I
that
need
I
to
would like
find
you
these
to not
pieces
die.
or I will be killed. So,
And
if I
that's
do
why
get,
it matters.
if I do get a +1 for this evening, someone must
No, I
be
don't want to
willing
go
to
with
assist
you.
me in my journey.
So, there was a man who's very powerful.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Don't want to give us his name? Alright. He made your mother ill. Did your mother die? Very sorry.
Oh, God.
So, your mother dead. Dead mother now.
Yes. My
And
father,
now this man, yes?
my father refused to
There isn't
believe.
enough ale in the
Refused to
world.
believe that he was the one that made my mother ill, so we would give him a large stipend to help us fix her. So he took all our money in a lying sense, and I escaped his reign.
So, your father thought he made your mother ill?
No, he did not believe me when I told him that he did.
Your father made your mother ill?
Oh. All right, listen to me.
She believes that the man made
Made my
the
mother
man.
ill.
Made him ill.
Okay.
And her dad didn't
Did not
believe.
believe.
Oh, okay, okay.
She went to her dad and said, "I think he poisoned her or whatever,"
And-
he didn't believe her.
And that man now visited you, wants you to collect these chess pieces, or in order to strike your record with the Gentle Void because you're impersonating the Gentle Void for reasons you don't want to tell us?
I escaped. I paid him off to get out of his reign. Back when my father did not believe me, and I had enough money to get one person out, and I got myself out. And I figured I'd make enough money by joining the army, and then make a life for myself.
Safira, you're up at the bar right now.
We
Yeah.
lost
the
the
guy's kind of
battle.
up there. Heated discussion over there.
Yeah.
Unexpectedly, the emperor lost. So, in order to make my way, I impersonated myself as someone higher up in the Gentle Void. That was found out, and my name is on the wanted list. In order to get my name off the wanted list, I need to collect these pieces and bring them back to the man I hate most.
These pieces are at the tasting?
They belong to very important people. I have no idea who they are. But he granted me an invitation because there might be some of them there. And I'd have to do certain things to get those pieces and then send them to him. That is why I'm going, not just to look pretty in a dress. Although that is a perk.
I'm just gonna flag down.
So,
Pours you another one. You notice
while
that
you were
Beezaura's
off doing all your
demeanor is-
humbugs in pairs, I was off fighting alone. In a very comfortable bed, though.
You got into a fight.
I got hit once. But it's fine.
It's hard to do.
You notice as the conversation's gone on, Beezaura's kind of dropped the elegant airs act that she had on. It's kind of returned back to her normal state.
Okay, so you won't be waylaid. You have to go to this tasting.
Oh, I'm going.
I'm going to the bar with Safira.
I don't know if I'm the person to accompany you to a tasting, but how can we help? Is there any way to keep you away from danger?
Well, first I have to see if I have a +1. I won't get the invitation until it's delivered to my room later this evening.
Well, you know, if you don't, we could always try to make a forgery, a second copy of that invitation. If I can find a forgery kit somewhere, I can make a copy. And then,
Orba.
Could
What a wonderful idea.
I go as a bodyguard? Would they allow you a bodyguard at this?
Don't know.
I
You
also,
don't know that for sure, by the way. You don't know.
I mean, the tasting sounds kind of magical. I wouldn't mind going and seeing all the fancies.
Well, I would have to get the details when I get the invitation, I guess. But thank you very much for offering me. It is quite a unique situation, I know. But
Well,
I am up to the task.
Okay, well, yes, we'll see what we can do with the one invitation and possible forgery, but
So what's new with everybody else?
we still
We're
at the bar.
Yeah, we'll move to the bar for a second, and the guy who's sort of pouring you drinks. I noticed you talking to Robert the other day. Friends of his?
In a manner of speaking.
New acquaintances.
He's got a lot of acquaintances, eh?
Seems that way, yes.
He's a known man.
Trustworthy man?
Yeah. If you're on the right side of him, I think so.
What does that mean?
Well, he connects one person to another. Sometimes a person's not as honorable as another person. As far as I know, Robert keeps his hands clean. Don't have anything bad to say about the man.
Speaking of honorable men, you know anything of First Spear Polnick?
I know the man, yeah.
I'm your bartender, I'm sure you hear conversations.
Yeah,
Have you heard any rumors of seedy dealings with Polnick?
seedy dealings.
Or controversies?
Wouldn't say anything of that kind, but I've seen him go down into the basement from time to time.
How have you?
Not saying there's things to do in the basement that are perfectly legal, so not casting any aspirations of the kind.
In Elvish.
Yeah.
Well, since everyone's revealing things, I think we should probably tell the group about the page we found.
Yeah.
And as you guys start talking in Elvish right in front of this guy, guess I'm not wanted here.
Actually, I have a question for you.
Sure.
My hair. Know anywhere I could fix it?
What?
I've got a razor you could use. Maybe shave it all off.
Oh!
Yeah. What do you think? Shave it all off?
Better than the kitchen shears.
Wigs?
Wigs are very popular in Orange.
Anywhere I could buy one?
I think over at the Lightest Stitch they make some nice ones, or perhaps the Trunk. Valerie might have a couple.
Lightest
Preparing for a
Stitch.
date with Steve?
Yeah, actually. I've got a date.
She's got a date. That's what I was saying in Elfish.
Well,
Am I in earshot?
you can see that they're conversing. You can't hear what they're saying.
So, wig? Any potions or something that you know fix this?
Potion to fix the hair? Not that I know of.
Yeah, wig it is then.
Thank you. And
And he goes back to his
then
business.
in Elvish, just real quick again, let's leave out the Polnick information for the moment.
No, because no, I don't want to do that. No, come on, I'm not a good liar. I'm 2 points
Oh,
in.
we can tell them that we were interrogated by Polnick, but
No, because here's the thing. If they trust him and give him more information when we might not want to give him more information, there's a problem. That's a problem.
oh no, that we should tell them.
What are we not telling them about Polnick?
Let's just
I
not.
don't understand.
That was definitely
can we
Elvish.
do that?
That was an
Sorry,
Elvish.
You can hear them arguing in Elvish.
The information he gave us.
What information?
Let's just not mention Bourage.
Oh, okay. Oh god, fine. More secrets, fine.
That's just one.
Just one secret.
While they're conversing,
Sure,
I
yeah.
lean into them too, and I was like, you know, when we were all three of us sitting at the bar last night, I think Erland might have hit on Safira. I think there's some spark. That he said something to her in Elfish that was very like sweet and whispery, and I
Well-
think I see a spark.
I sensed it.
Yes, I think so too.
They always like to do everything together and they talk in their little language all the time.
I spin off the stool and go back. Now that I've said it, I go back to the group.
Orba stops off.
Graven, how
I'm
you
just gonna
feeling?
kind of turn around and look at everyone.
Much better, thank you.
Graven, you
As
alright?
eccentric as that elf was in the street, she did know a good healer. And if anybody needs him, Michael is.
Top notch.
Anyway.
Nice.
Did you. The library, What did you find?
Oh, yes! The book!
And we want to tell you all about that, I'm sure.
You don't want to tell it together?
What's that?
Nothing.
What's
Like
up?
at the same time? I don't know.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, go!
No, we found a page. We found the book.
We did.
I
Okay.
can't find it.
Okay,
What did it say?
so
What did it say?
page 217.
It was a
filled
page
with-
on. It was a page about myconid
Myconids.
extract and uses. That is somewhere.
You lost the page already.
Yes.
No, give me, and I'm just kind of like,
Can you
Will
tell us
you
over here?
put that?
Erland's like rummaging
I'm just
through his
gonna
stuff, and
rummage.
Safira's like holding the two pages.
yeah, right, calm down.
It was a. We transcribed it. This is not the original.
Okay,
Would you like to see it?
Oh,
Everyone can get a turn
treatise.
to read it.
treatise and brief on myconids and unusual applications.
Oh, you're gonna read the whole thing?
It's a long.
Do you,
No,
want, do you want to fill them in on the generals? Did you guys?
Yeah,
I
let's
mean,
just- the
Yeah.
high points.
the
little tidbit.
we all saw the
Beezaura takes a look and she's like, summarize this.
we all saw the
Words.
who saw the thing this morning? That was just the piece of paper that we
Oh
received
no,
this morning.
yeah.
You
Okay,
were all,
so-
everyone but Beezaura saw the
Orba.
lady at the
Yes.
desk.
I get to see it?
Your reader.
Yes.
Look. Take that.
Puzzles.
Tell me what you think. If it's an anagram, is anyone good at puzzles? Are you good at puzzles? feel like
No,
you're
I
good
think
at puzzles.
I think the warning's fairly
If
obvious.
it's a puzzle, I can take a whack
Orba,
at
give
it.
it a read.
Oh.
I mean, yes, I would argue that it's pretty obvious. But
What does it say?
it says, they are watching.
Who's they?
We don't know.
It's a page on myconid extract. Much of it seems very mundane. Things that seemed interesting, it can like deactivate explosives rapidly.
Give me the page with the other one.
This.
Whoever sent us this knew what we were looking for.
Who knows that we're staying here?
Can we?
Jillian.
Can we
knows.
study? Is there any evidence or traces or smells or?
Looks and smells exactly the
Hang
way
on.
you're holding it.
Let's have a quick think. Who have we told that we were looking for that book? Because we haven't told many people, have we?
I haven't told anyone.
Well,
Oh,
and Jillian wouldn't know that we
Jillian
were
wouldn't
looking for the book.
Do you think
Jillian wouldn't know.
that man, the librarian man who died, he sent it to us in advance?
I know
We
it's
saw
wrong.
it.
Did
No,
never-
you didn't.
we never-
We never told him.
we
that
also
we
never
were
investigated the body.
Well,
looking
also
for the
Picari
book.
knew that we were looking for the book.
Picari seemed very mournful and I mean, like, he could be deceiving us, but he was.
Oh, the
Or she-
librarian assistant.
She?
Picari's a she, right?
That's
She?
the librarian
She-
assistant.
yeah,
Keep
so
it
the
apart.
Chief of Picard.
Okay, the GGG written on the wall had nothing to do with what was in that room.
Well, so it
Just
does.
No.
myconids.
Well,
No.
it's a page on myconid. Well, it had this was the page for the first edition, and it's about myconid extract. It can decompose explosives very quickly.
It can also remove digestive discomfort.
Do you have digestive discomfort?
That's
Depends on what happens at the tasting tonight.
Usually when you're
Gross.
around, I have.
It also says at the very bottom
No. We listen.
that we should go to the Natural Studies Institute in Mukmu for intriguing additional details regarding claims too recent and unsubstantiated to be published in this compendium.
We know what those claims are, though, don't we?
We know
No.
one possible use of the myconids.
Yes, which is myconids can be used to mine a fluid or something to make some kind of potion that makes you invincible.
This
It's
is
like
what
the
you were
men that
talking
I
about.
encountered.
It makes
That's-
you invincible?
Yes, it makes you impenetrable to any kind of damage. It's
For
like
temporary
a
time, like
strengthening. I'm not sure exactly how it works. The men that I fought had consumed this substance. I went to my commander to tell him that this had happened.
Brute the brute?
Yes. Didn't listen to me. That's why I left. My theory, this is the stuff in the machines that they're mining. They're creating it and they're trying to distribute it, and it's making them a whole lot of money.
Does anybody just wonder why in God's name there is a warning already in a book that's old?
So the most recent edition of Grimari's Grimoire that we also looked at
Yes.
no longer contains any
Right.
information about Myconids.
Right.
Because it's dangerous.
I believe it's Grimari himself saying in the publication that that they are. We don't know who they are. I would guess. I actually have no guesses.
I have a guess.
Yes.
I'm not sure who they are exactly, but what it means is this is the least of what they know about the Myconids. They knew, Grimari knew, when he published this book, what the Myconids were capable of producing, and he couldn't say it because he was being watched. By whom? We're not sure.
As you guys are having this conversation,
Loudly.
the woman at the desk comes over and sort of politely leans in.
I don't mean to intrude. May I? A courier came by and said that Robert Bastille would be over at the Five Sisters and requested the presence. I believe the two of you met with him the first time.
It's true.
That is indeed.
He said if you could come by at his convenience. Thank you.
Five Sisters. Right now.
He said that he'd be there for a little while.
Okay.
Just then,
Those are the two that he asked for specifically.
She turns away. He talked to the two of them the first time he spoke, so he's not disinviting you, but he recognized.
Do I recognize any of these references?
What specifically?
The 3 references at the bottom of the page.
Oh, no, you don't recognize those. No,
Okay.
like the sources
Yes,
there at the bottom.
the source materials.
Mhm. No, not really.
Okay.
They don't mean anything. They don't jump out at you as meaning anything particular.
Okay.
I believe that Grimari knew writing about Myconids was dangerous and was warning anyone who read the first edition why all the information was going to be removed in further editions.
why all of it's written almost. He was obfuscating whatever the real thing was here.
Yes.
Well, why if he's a fraudulent writer like you said, why is he making this? Why is he making this page? Why is he making
Erland, fraudulent how?
I told he was a plagiarist.
A plagiarist.
His
But you don't know of whom. Who was he plagiarizing?
I know of one particular old book that he plagiarized. Like I said, that's all I know of him. All his works aren't fraudulent. It's just he was reaping the rewards of other people's work and collecting it without appropriately citing one.
He had accomplishments of his own, but a number of his works were found to be copying
Copies from older books.
And your relationship with him would not constitute him sending you a warning.
I mean,
This is true. That's a threat, isn't it?
No, it's a warning.
it's not necessarily Grimari. It could be anyone that knew that he had placed this warning in the book. Could be Grimari, but I think it's much more likely to be...
Knew that he had placed this warning in the book and knew that we were looking for
Exactly.
the book in the first place.
Yes.
But this person knew where we were staying, knew what we were looking for.
I don't want to be a part of this. And she hands the paper to
Yeah.
anybody.
Throws it in
We
the
have to
middle
make
of
our
it.
way to Five Sisters.
Yes, we should go meet Robert.
See what he wants.
Just everyone be careful. Good lord.
We'll be back, and then I have to go get my invitation.
Eyes open.
I would like to come with you to meet Robert. Is now really the moment?
I think we're kind of in this together at this point.
We didn't say we wouldn't be back, but he did just ask for us.
I'm sorry, which of
Listen,
the two
I'm
of us
not-
were hired by Jillian originally?
I'm not in the business
Oh,
of keeping things
gosh.
from people. If he asked for us, we're going to go meet him. He already knows about all of you. The only person he didn't know about was me.
We didn't know about.
What do you mean?
Well, when we sat down,
he
and was
actually
like,
he wasn't expecting the two of you. He was
Right.
expecting.
oh yeah, he was expecting.
He and Jillian
The only
was-
people he had heard of were Erland, well, not by
Oh,
name,
right.
but he knew that
Orba,
she was
yeah.
traveling with Safira and
He'll
Erland.
know us if we
And
want to
Benji.
come.
He
I'm
knew
not
about
going to
Benji.
leave Orba alone though. Not when someone sent us some kind of.
We'll be back.
Fine, we'll just have to tell you again later. Everybody,
Also, you have a date at the Five Sisters
Yeah,
this
it's
evening,
late
don't
tonight.
you? Oh, well,
Yeah.
she has a date.
Congratulations.
If you come, we walk in separately.
But he knows
Alright.
about.
No, oh gosh. What are we doing?
He wouldn't recognize them. He just knows that Jillian was traveling with two companions, two half elves.
I think
he
he would
hasn't
just
met them.
credibly believe that we were traveling.
Yeah, just be careful.
Check for that.
Just pull that mic a little towards the old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think that he would just credibly believe that we probably knew, like Jillian is what you're saying, right? Yeah.
What do you think, Graven?
You want to stay? You want to come and meet with him, or you want to stay nearby?
I'd like to meet Robert.
No! I refuse.
What? Why don't you want to meeting him?
To be fair, Erland can be.
He gets a little tongue-tied sometimes with the things that come out. What have you
Say
done?
tied. I would
I
say
wouldn't
it gets
say
a-
tied,
he
I'd
gets a
say just a
slippery
little
tongue.
loose-lipped.
Yeah,
I
slippery
think
like
loose-lipped is the opposite of what I am, frankly.
No, you're like a
Right.
snake. Slippery like a snake.
Oh.
That's
All
I don't know what you want me to compare him to.
All
It's a
right.
weird
All
analogy.
right.
I just think it'd be better
We-
if we just showed up, the two of us.
He
If you want to hang back, hang back.
he asked for the two of us. We promise to come right back and relay any information.
Okay.
Look at how upset he is.
I might show
Bye.
up.
I walk out. I walk out.
I'm going.
The two of them start to go.
Yeah.
Do you stay?
What time's the meeting at?
What time?
Oh, what time did the person said just at your convenience?
Yeah, he said that Robert would be at the Five Sisters for the next couple hours.
I'm gonna hang for a second.
You hang back. Okay. Alright. You guys continue over. You find the Five Sisters, and despite the daytime hours, there's a fair-sized crowd there.
Same neighborhood.
And from the looks of it, mostly dock-working types, sailors, longshoremen, sort of with variable.
Before we go in, can I just put my armor on top of my nice dress?
Sure. Yeah.
Back.
Yeah. Chainmail as you kind of. Yeah. You're able to do that as you're sort of moving, and you can immediately identify Robert Bastille. He's sort of sitting at a far end table, engaged in a quiet but intense conversation with a few other men close to the bar. He's sort of chatting. You can't really understand what he's saying, and he doesn't notice you at first as you enter.
It's just him talking to one person.
No, he's him talking to three other guys.
Oh,
There's
there's other
other
guys.
guys.
Well, I'm pretty noticeable. I just kind of slowly walk towards him.
And he sees you. And a couple of the people go off. One of the men starts, tips a hat to you, and walks off. Emotions.
Walk over.
Both of you walk over. It's good to see you again.
Robert?
I'm afraid I have little news in the way of Jillian.
I said I was sticking around for a second.
Sure.
I ran after them.
Great, sure. Make a stealth check, yeah.
Not sneakily. Like
Oh,
I
okay.
I was truly gonna stick around to see what they were gonna say and then bolt out the door.
Done. Yeah, as they're walking over to Robert, you're entering the door.
That's
and-
exactly it.
Right.
Yes.
And they come to sit down, and you're making no secret of your entrance.
Nah.
You can see him talking to them. You guys have your backs to the door. You kind of
Yeah.
sit,
Right.
so you haven't seen him enter yet.
Robert?
Am I within earshot?
You can get within earshot, yeah.
I'm just gonna. If they're sitting down and talking to him,
Yep.
I'm gonna walk over.
Friend of yours? Come on, sit.
This is one of the half elves.
Sorry.
Hired by Jillian.
One of Jillian's men. I see. Anyway, I have little news, but a small possible lead to follow. Have you had any luck on your end? Have you been looking for Jillian?
No luck yet.
Nothing.
We received a mysterious letter this morning. Does anyone else? No, a mysterious. This. We received a mysterious list this morning. Does
Yeah.
anyone?
Just
Does
shut
anyone
up.
know where we're? Does anyone know where we're staying? Other than
Robert.
you?
Can we stay on track, Erland?
Robert.
Please,
Oh my god.
one at a time. I haven't sent a letter.
Okay.
That's the only thing that's up.
We have no contact with Jillian anywhere that she could be, so
Sorry to hear that.
thank you.
I haven't heard any information about her directly, but you might be aware that there's this wine tasting soiree at the Mullafair
Heard about
estate.
it.
Well, I heard through a contact of mine that a Tiefling who goes by the name of Armand Valiant is going to be there. Now, Armand has a similar operation in Tuktu that I have here, trading information. We used to work together fairly often, but now we aren't on the best of terms. Gillian was in frequent communication with Armand before she set out to prepare for her most recent harvesting out, where she hired you and one other, Benji. Armand has good contacts with the Gentle Void, who are in turn well connected when it comes to secrets of this nature. And if anyone knows where Gillian might have gone instead of coming here, it's probably him.
He'll be at the tasting.
Now, Armand won't talk to me, nor will he converse with anyone on my behalf. On short notice, I could acquire one invitation, but the rest will have to find another way in, assuming you want more than one person in there. Perhaps I could sneak you in as day laborers, cooks, chefs, that sort of thing. I could vouch for you. I have a bit of sway in this matter. So, if you'd like to speak to Armand, that'd be the way to do it.
These invitations, are they only good for one person? Are they any plus ones? Or?
The one I have is just one person, and it's got a name on it already. Jamie. But that could be a man or a woman.
Right.
If you want my advice, I wouldn't have you go. Goliaths are fairly uncommon. Stand out. And
Yes.
I noticed you have a young Tiefling companion. I wouldn't send her. Her young age is suspicious at an affair of this kind.
Do you think that a Goliath or small Tiefling would be able to sneak in as a laborer, as you said?
Perhaps, yeah. Staff of that kind. If you keep to the kitchens.
Guests wouldn't have bodyguards.
No.
Okay.
No weapons allowed. No armor allowed.
Right. Well, if we could use that invitation, perhaps one of the half-elves could go as Jamie, and I could go as a laborer.
Halfling could go too.
Right.
Surprisingly.
Erland, let one say their own information, don't you think?
All right. We'll need to sneak
Excuse
in.
me, sir. What does he do for the Gentle Void?
Armand. Like I said, he's got a job like I do. Puts people in contact with other people. Now, I myself, I prefer not to deal with the Gentle Void. They can be touchy, and they tend to renege on their debts if they don't think that the price is fair. I try to stay away from those sorts. Armand, he doesn't mind. He's a prickly kind of man.
Interesting.
There are a couple of important caveats I'd like to address. First of all, anyone sneaking in as a laborer will have to be personally vouched for by me, which means my reputation's on the line. Any trouble you get into will be traced back to me, an offense that I do not take lightly. And second, for the person who uses the invitation, if you somehow make a mess of things, you'd better forget my name, or your prison cell will become your grave. Is that understood?
Indeed.
Clearly.
Yes.
I'll get you the invitation. Now, how many sneaking in as laborers, so I can give someone a heads up?
One Goliath, one Tiefling child, and a half-elf.
Very well.
One more thing. About Armand. Do you know if there's any sort of tasks or things that he needs on his end?
He's the kind of man that trades in favors, if you're looking for that sort of thing.
Thank you.
I'll meet you at Paddy Jack's stable. Sundown. There'll be a wagon there. Take the labourers to the estate. And there'll be a couple of horses. I'll take you to the carriage that takes the guests over to the estate as well. And like I said, if you run into Armand, I wouldn't mention my name.
Understood.
You'll be there at the stable?
I'll be at the stable. I won't be attending.
No.
And once you get there, you're on your own.
Okay. This is helpful, thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Good luck.
Robert, can I ask you an unrelated question?
Of course.
First Spear Polnick. We've run into him a couple times now.
Yeah.
He seemed to be a man who knows things.
I do.
Is he to be trusted?
Polnick has a history, but yes, I trust him.
What sort of history, if you don't mind me asking?
From what I understand, he had a bit of a rough upbringing.
Does it affect his... He interrogated me today, and I'd like to know what kind of man I'm talking to.
I wouldn't stake my entire reputation on it, but I believe he's a good man. I would trust him.
Can I tell if Robert Bastille is...
Sure, make a insight check.
23.
You catch nothing. I mean, he doesn't seem like he's lying, but Robert's also... He's good at
Really
this.
good.
But also that's a 23.
Robert's real good at this. I mean, he doesn't seem like it, but he doesn't give away much.
Yeah, totally. Are you able to elaborate at all on the rough upbringing?
I try not to dabble in other men's business. Made some mistakes in the past, spent some time in prison. I believe he's atoned for his sins, and many people feel the same. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
Robert, I recently shrugged off a nasty curse and I'm looking to stretch my limbs. Do you know of any good hunting around the city or contracts on beasts or anything like that?
You're looking to do the hunting?
Yes.
If there was anything of that nature, you'd go over to the Fleet of the Broken Crown command post. They hire out bounty hunters and jobs of the like, things that are causing disturbances.
Is there a place where you could be hunted? The way you emphasized do made it seem like there was a place where you could be.
As opposed to find someone to hunt something for.
I see.
Anything of that nature. It's not my business.
Erland, sometimes the way your mind works just baffles me. Anyway, thank you, Robert.
See you at sundown.
See you then.
Good luck.
Thank you.
He gets up. You guys are left there.
Erland,
Hello.
you were interrogated.
Yes, by Polnick, yes. Safira and I both, yes.
Why?
Well, we ran into him at the library, and he wanted to know our account of what happened beneath in the crypts.
Okay.
And Erland, I didn't really want to announce that I was invited, because I'd have to explain how I got invited. Just shut up.
I thought he would ask more questions about only needing 3. I'm sorry.
Robert knows how to do his dealings, okay?
All right, you're right.
So are you in trouble with Polnick?
No, not that I know of. We gave him an account, and he wishes
I'm
to.
supposed to report to him tomorrow.
Yes, he mentioned that. Are you going to report to him tomorrow?
Yes.
Do you have anything
I
to
told
hide?
him that I would, and I usually do what I say.
Then perhaps we can put aside our differences and go together, because he also asked for us to report to him tomorrow as well. Their investigation is ongoing, and their investigation is ongoing. They told me not to leave the city for 24 hours, which I wasn't planning on anyways.
Right. Well, on to the tasting for now.
Okay, so exit the Five Sisters, start to make your way back. And as you prepare to reconvene and set your plans for the evening, that's where we're going to call the episode tonight. We ran a little over tonight, sorry about that. I wanted to find a sort of logical place to end. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Please come back
Yes.
next time.
June
Second.
9th? 2nd? What is it?
2nd. I think it's June 2nd. Yep.
I can't remember.
Yep, June 2nd.
June 2nd.
Yes.
Yay!
Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank
Please come
you.
back. The adventure continues. Nice job, everybody. A lot of stuff to unpack before next episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
If you want to catch up on what's happened before, there's like 4 to 5 minute
You're
recap.
still in your Orba accent.
you can listen to Orba tell you about the recaps.
There are 4 and 5
4
minute
to 5 recaps.
recaps of past sessions. So in case you're feeling like you're left a little in the dark, it's like a quick little catch you up to see what's been happening in the last couple chapters. There's only
The
been
full
a few
episodes are there too if you feel like catching up. The journey continues. Thanks, guys, so much. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.